It's finally September here in Houston, Texas. And that only means one thing in the big state of Texas. It's football time. And the University of Houston is ready to open the season against Tennessee Tech. All the pomp and circumstance, bands and fans in Houston are ready to usher in the new Tom Herman era. The American Athletic Conference football here on ESPN. Tonight's matchup, the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles and the Cougars from the University of Houston. Welcome inside the broadcast booth alongside George Reister. I'm Nick Strong. Glad to have you along, and I'm glad it's football time. I'm glad to be back upstairs in the booth. Well, let's talk about Tennessee Tech first. When you talk about these Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, you got to mention one name, and that's Ladarius Van Leer.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch him play. This kid is electric. He's dynamic, and he's fast. He's going to be returning kickoffs, returning punts, and you're going to see him touch the ball on offense 15 to 20 times. Their coach, Watson Brown, knows that to have any chance in this game, they're going to have a heavy dose of him getting the ball.
Stepping over into the other side of the football, led by new head coach Tom Herman, the University of Houston Cougars. They're led by new quarterback Greg Ward.
Yeah, he's a kid. This is his first time actually being a captain of the Houston Cougars ship, and he's excited, and he's a great athlete. But their coach, Tom Herman, he wants him to be a quarterback that's also athletic as opposed to an athlete playing quarterback. It is so exciting to see these guys play, but he's going to have a lot of help from his running back, Kenneth Farrow.
A lot of excitement here at TDECU Stadium. It's football time here in Houston, and we'll be right back. You're watching ESPN Football. Welcome back to TDECU Stadium here in Houston, Texas. College football has begun, and they're going to be led, the Houston Cougars, that is, by first-year head coach Tom Herman.
Yeah, this is his first time being a head coach in college football. But you saw he was the World's Award winner for the top assistant in all of college football. He was the offensive coordinator at the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes last year. This offense is built on running the football, and some people think that when you spread it out that it's not a power game, but it really is. It's built upon down, around power football, and then a lot of zone running as well.
Impressive resume there for head coach Tom Herman, stepping over from Ohio State. Now will lead the Cougars here in the American Athletic Conference. Let's move over to Watson Brown, who's the older brother former head coach, University of Texas, Mack Brown.
Yeah, he has been over at Tennessee Tech for a number of years. This is his 9th season there. And he's a guy, he has wanted to rebuild the program. There wasn't a lot of money there when he first got there. He's been able to find recruits. He's been able to find gems and diamonds in the rough, just like Ladarius Van Leer, who we're going to see a lot of tonight. But he's a successful head coach, and you're going to see his team prepared tonight.
Watson Brown, former coach of University of Cincinnati, UAB, Rice University, and he's actually 4-3 versus these Cougars on his resume. So he's actually going for his 5th win against the University of Houston Cougars. Looks as though the Cougars have won the coin toss. They will defer. And let me guess, back deep to receive, Ladarius Van Leer.
Yeah.
Ladarius Van Leer wearing number 3. Radier Noor wearing number 6. How exciting was your offseason? Trying to get back into football season.
Man, I've been waiting for this all year. You've been watching games.
That's right.
The rest of the week, but actually be a part of a game on opening weekend is so exciting. And these kids, they have to be ready. You know, their hearts are pumping. Some of them are getting their first action since high school.
And that's the thing. I mean, everybody's waiting for college football season. How hungry are these kids on the football field?
Well, the expectations at Houston are really high. They have a new head coach, and they want to get the season started out on the right foot.
University of Houston will kick things off. Number 39, Kyle Bullard, and there's the high booming kick. And it's going to be called back for a touchback. And they're not going to give Mr. Wilson or Mr. Van Leer any room out there to run the football. Let's get quickly into the Tennessee Tech offense led by Ladarius Van Leer.
Yeah, the question, though, is who is going to be starting at quarterback for them? We knew that we would find it out more as the season, at the opening snap, whether it's going to be Jarrett Davis or whether it's going to be Colby Brown.
Also mentioning 3 new offensive linemen there for the Tennessee Tech offense. 3 new coming into this year. So that's also going to play a role with these guys learning how to gel together early on in the season.
Your offensive line, I mean, you obviously have to give your quarterback time. They want to be able to run the football.
First play of the year for Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles. Jarrett Davis taking the snap out the gun as he hands off for a couple yards there. Brought down by number 41, Steve Taylor, was Ladarius Van Leer.
So you find this at the beginning of the season. Teams will either take a big shot or they'll try to run a conservative play just to get their quarterback and their team in a good rhythm.
Davis, play action, has a man. Hits him on the sidelines, has a couple yards. That's Chris Cates. Good enough for a gain of about 5. And third down coming up here for the Golden Eagles.
This is a big play just to get it in sort of a third and manageable for Tennessee Tech.
Let's talk quickly about this University of Houston defense led by defensive back Tommy Mark from Lufkin, Texas.
Yeah, their front 7 is going to be the strength of this team, even though their back end has had some experience.
Davis, play action, going long, has a man. And the pass is no catch. Number 1, Steve Wilson, the receiver, just couldn't hang on to it. Fourth down coming up here for Tennessee Tech. And the Cougars put up their first 3 and out of the year.
Right there, you saw Houston bring additional pressure. They didn't quite get to the quarterback and disrupt his throw, but at the same time, they were able to affect the timing of the route and the way the ball came in. And if you're Tennessee Tech, that's a pass that you're going to have to complete if you want to stay competitive in this game.
Number 19, Jonathan Keene, back deep to punt. And DeMarcus Ayers back deep to receive. Ayers will take it from around his own 25-yard line, shakes a couple of receivers, puts some dance moves on the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, and the fans here in Houston go wild.
This is one of the guys that Coach Tom Herman said that he wanted to get the ball in his hands, but at the same time, he has to be really careful about how many touches that he gives his wide receivers, because out of between Chance Allen, who transferred in from Oregon, Isaiah Johnson, Stephen Dunbar, they're going to have to manage what's going on.
You talked about number 1, Greg Ward. He's the starting quarterback for the Cougars, completed 67% of his passes last season. 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 6 touchdowns were rushes. Ward out the backfield, hits a receiver. And it looks like number 10, DeMarcus Ayers, the junior from Lancaster, Texas, grabbing some outside yardage here. Second down coming up here for the Cougars.
They're going to want to get Greg Ward comfortable early, and that's just an extended handoff.
Greg Ward rolls out. Has racing room, will use his legs. Did he get the first down? It was close. Kevin Robinson-White there on the stop, the closest defender to Greg Ward.
And Tom Herman, he talked to us in the conference call this year, the other day, about tempo. They want to have big tempo.
Tennessee Tech defense here on the screen. And looks like a botched play after the first down. It's going to be a loss for the Cougs. Early season jitters there for Greg Ward.
Well, that's one of the problems with going fast. Tom Herman talked about this is what they call their call it and haul it. They're not so much worried about checking out of bad plays. They're just going to get up, line up, and run whatever's called.
Last year, Greg Ward started 8 games. He went 6-2. Out the backfield is Kenneth Farrell, and he's brought down. Number 21, Stephen Bush on the tackle there.
Farrell's not going to blow you away with his speed, but he is consistent, and he is the kind of guy that's not going to make mistakes. And you saw him make a play when they got the ball in his hands.
Trying to go for a hurry-up offense, and it looks as though somebody on that offensive line may have jumped. So U of H going into the no-huddle offense early on here, like you said, they're going to try to get the tempo going early.
You're going to see this a lot from them. I mean, it's going to look a lot like what you saw with Braxton Miller and J.T. Barrett and Cardell Jones out of Ohio State last season. So expect that, just minus some of the athletes, and also just the fact that he hasn't had years to get these players accustomed to his system and the way they run it.
3rd and 8 here for the Cougs. Ward has racing room. Will get the first down and a whole lot more into Tennessee Tech territory. Brought down by number 12, Malik Hall, the 5'10 junior from Clarksville, Tennessee.
This is the most dangerous thing about the spread offense is that when the receivers go deep, you actually have to account for the quarterback as well. When you have a quarterback like Ward who can use his feet as well as his arms, it makes it very dangerous and tough to stop.
Pistol formation here for the Houston Cougars. Greg Ward keeps it himself. Beats the defender to the outside. Has racing room, looking for 6. And he's stopped just short of the end zone. Great legs on this guy.
Tom Herman talked about his ability to run the football. Everybody knows about his athleticism and that this is what he expects out of him. But at the same time, he's going to have to make some plays with his arm for them this season.
Hurry up offense there for the Cougs. And did he get stopped short? That's Ryan Jackson. Looks as though they didn't give him the touchdown just yet. They're at the half-yard line. Greg Ward, another handoff. Gets it right back to him, and the Cougars score first. Ryan Jackson on the half-yard touchdown here at TDECU Stadium.
With the exception of that penalty on the first drive, you love, if you're Tom Herman, the way that your team has come out. They've moved the ball down the field. Their quarterback, Greg Ward, is showing a lot of confidence as well. How many times are we starting to see this in college football?
Looks like the old swinging gate, huh?
This is just a tactic by coaches for them to give the opposing coordinator just one more thing to think about, because if he has to defend against a 2-point conversion, then he's not finding time to defend against their regular offense.
Kyle Bullard on for the extra point attempt, and Kyle Bullard with the extra point attempt. 7-0 here at TDECU Stadium. You're watching American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. Welcome back to Houston, Texas. University of Houston Cougars go up 7-0 over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech here in the first quarter. 10:49 left to go, and I'm joined alongside George Reister. I'm Nick Strong, bringing you all the action here at TDECU Stadium. George, what did you like about that first drive there by the Houston Cougars?
I like the fact that they moved the ball. Aside from that one false start penalty, they seem to be getting a good rhythm. Tom Herman and Major Applewhite, their offensive coordinator, former Texas quarterback, calling the plays. you saw that he got some extended handoffs, some nice easy tosses for Greg Ward, their quarterback, in the beginning of the game, and that's going to help him build a lot of confidence.
Ladarius Van Leer back deep to receive for the Cougs. And that's going to be out of bounds. Flag on a play. And the Golden Eagles will get a chance to get to their own 40-yard line.
This is a play that, as a coach, you are just so frustrated whenever the ball gets kicked out of bounds, because the way that Houston started the last series, they barely gave up any yards, and you don't want to give the offense a short field, because if you give them a short field, the percentages say that they have a more likely chance to score.
Jared Davis, the starting quarterback for the Golden Eagles. Last season, 770 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 of those rushing. Excuse me, not the 40-yard line. They kick it off. They started at 35. Jared Davis from Manchester, Tennessee. And they like to run kind of a hybrid offense back there in the backfield. They'll do 2 wide receivers. They'll do 3 wide receivers, a running back, and a sprout back. They call it an H-back. Jared Davis looks for a receiver, and no catch. No catch pass intended for number 81, Austin Hicks.
The first thing that Tennessee Tech is going to have to do, they're going to have to find a way to keep their quarterback from being under duress. I mean, it's very hard to play quarterback. It's going to be hard for Jared Davis to get comfortable and to make some plays if he's constantly under pressure.
Davis hits Brock McCoy, and I'm not sure if they got any yards on that one. Brock McCoy just couldn't get there, but Trayvon Stewart, number 23 for the Houston Cougars, was right there for the tackle.
And over there as well, you saw Landon Roberts. He's the guy that Coach Tom Herman said he has a motor like no other. He will go from sideline to sideline, and he has no quit. He has no off button.
Tennessee Tech trying to recover on the offensive side. They lost their starting receiver and starting rusher last year on the season. Davis drops back to pass. Spires has a receiver right there at the 50-yard line. And right there is the deuce. That's Jordan Smith.
You see here, Tennessee Tech, they're saying, anything you can do, Houston, I can do better. They're going to speed up the tempo as well and put some pressure on this Cougar defense.
Davis keeps it. Has a receiver wide open down the field. Into the end zone. Number 8, Brock McCoy. And the tennis, no, he's just short.
This is exactly what Houston wanted to do to Tennessee Tech, which is to run the ball, make easy plays, stretch it out, and then all of a sudden play action and go over the top. The quarterback is the hardest man to defend, and you saw there, the defense has to make a choice. Either let Davis run for a first down or leave the receiver and the defender make the wrong choice.
Davis out the gun. And I think somebody may have false started on that offensive line. That was number 70, Jabrin Lynch. That's going to push him back 5 yards. A 5-yard false start. Jared Davis lines up 3 wide out the gun. Davis. And puts it in the hands of Van Leer. And he's stopped by number 44, Elandon Roberts, the transfer from Morgan State.
As much as Tennessee Tech wants to run downhill today, Nick, I think that they're going to have to stretch Houston out wide first. That way the way they can get the defenders moving from side to side and then try to bring Van Leer up the middle. But just going at him up front straight ahead hasn't been proven successful.
Davis drops it back to Brock McCoy on the reverse. And McCoy is brought down at around the Cougars' 20-yard line by number 44 again, Elandon Roberts.
That's the man with the motor. That is the man that is not going to quit. He is the heart and soul of this Houston Cougars team. And if you're Tennessee Tech, that's why that 5-yard penalty hurts so much, because you are on the 3-yard line and you can try to pound it away. 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, and then you can go for it on 4th down and maybe punch it in for a touchdown.
3rd and goal from the 20-yard line. Tennessee Tech trying to step into the end zone. Davis hits McCoy, has some room. And he gets inside the 15, just shy of the 10. And it's 4th down here for the Golden Eagles.
One of my old offensive coordinators used to say, there aren't a whole lot of 20-yard plays in the playbook. You might complete 1 or 2 throughout the game if you're lucky. But as a normal, on the typical, you do not want to be up against 3rd and long yardage.
John Arnold in to kick the field goal here for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. Field goal is up, and the field goal is good. 7-3 your score here from Houston, Texas. The Cougs lead this one. You're watching American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. 7-3 your score here live from University of Houston. The Cougars lead the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles in the first quarter. 7:18 left to go. And how about that Tennessee Tech scoring drive on that last time? 8 plays, 54 yards, 3 minutes and 31 seconds, capped off by a 28-yard field goal by John Arnold.
The biggest play on that drive was that big, long pass by Jared Davis.
And back deep was Tyreek Gray there, the local freshman from Lamar High School, as he pulls the Cougars out to around the 30-yard line, maybe the 29.
This is an important series for the Tennessee Tech defense. They want to come out and find a way to get a stop. And if you're Houston, you want to continue the tempo. You want to keep pushing, and you want to find some sort of rhythm. You want Greg Ward to keep it going. You want him to actually have to use his arm throwing the ball as opposed to just relying on his legs. Because Tom Herman knows that in this American Conference, he's going to need him to do more than just run the football.
Greg Ward steps back, play action. Has a receiver, number 10, DeMarcus Ayers. And it looks like they're going to go for the first down there. They're going to give it to him.
Tom Ward talked about his growth, as in Greg Ward, his growth from last year. He had an opportunity right there to either throw it to the widest receiver or throw it right there to Ayers, and he made the right decision and moved the chains.
Ayers in motion. Greg Ward has a receiver down the field. Pass was intended for number 21, Chance Allen. Let's take a look at it.
Chance Allen, the transfer from the University of Oregon, had the wide receiver beaten. Greg Ward, at the end of the game, that's when he's going to wish that he had back out of coaches say, don't miss the layup. When you get one-on-one coverage, you cannot miss the layup. That's an opportunity that hopefully he'll get again, and hopefully he'll hit.
You know a little something about Eugene, Oregon?
Yeah. Spent some good years in Eugene.
3 or 4?
Well, I was there for 4. I left.
You did 4.
Yeah, I left early as a junior though.
Okay.
Ball start. 15 in the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
New head coach Tom Herman comes in. He takes over this University Cougar football team, as you talked about earlier, coming in from Ohio State. What does Coach Tom Herman need to do, or what has he done in preparation for these guys to buy into this new offense?
Well, he comes in with instant credibility because he just won a national championship.
And pass is caught by number 35, Kenneth Farrow, the 5'11", 215-pound senior. Not sure if he got back to the original line of scrimmage, but he did grab 2 yards on that play. 3rd and long coming up here for the Houston Cougars.
For him not to be a blazer, he is a very consistent running back. He catches the ball well out of the backfield, is good in pass protection, and Tom Ward and their coach said, guess what? He's the kind of guy that you want to marry your daughter.
Oh, wow.
He's that guy.
Coaches don't say that often. Greg Ward going long down the field. Pass was intended for number 88, Stephen Dunbar. 4th down coming up here for the Cougs. And the coaches waving their team off. And the punt unit will come aboard.
Greg Ward has actually been getting very good protection. This Houston offensive line, their front 5, has been protecting him pretty well. Their center, Colton Freeman, he's a freshman, but Tom Herman is excited about him and the possibilities that he's bringing. You got Dew, Oliver. They are doing a nice job keeping Greg Ward and giving him an opportunity to pass the ball.
Logan Piper back to punt. And Ladarius Van Leer to receive this one. And he's brought down by a host of Houston Cougars. So Tennessee Tech will take over here on offense. Their 3rd drive of the game.
It's hard to run punts back when you don't get started. And that was good coverage by the Houston Cougars. They got down. They stayed in their lanes. They kept their gap integrity. And that's how you bottle up a little jitterbug, a little guy that you might call Scooter.
Scooter.
Yeah, that's what we used to always
Scooter's
call.
that small guy on the football field that just likes to run everywhere.
Exactly, and you can't find him behind the big offensive lineman.
Oh, boy. Jared Davis, not the Scooter. Lines him up 4 wide in the spread. Davis back to pass. Brought down in traffic. And the Cougs with a sack inside the 10-yard line, brought down by number 41, Stephen Taylor from Cedar Hill, Texas.
This is the problem with when you start to get pressure on the quarterback. See, he still had some protection in there in the center, but over the course of the first 2 drives, he had been under duress. And when a quarterback gets under duress, sometimes he hears that clock and that timing go off, and he thinks he needs to get out of the pocket when he really doesn't need to.
Jordan Davis puts it back in the hands of Van Leer. And Van Leer stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of a yard for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
So we talked about that there aren't very many plays in the playbook for
20-yard first down.
Yeah, but now for 24 yards, it narrows it down even more.
3rd down and long for the Golden Eagles. Davis on the keeper. Davis showing some toughness up the middle. And they'll just run it out and they'll have the punt right here.
Just trying to get some room for their punter to change field position just a little bit more. 5-10 extra yards does make a big difference. This American Athletic Conference, people, it recently changed names, but people don't really understand what's really going on. There's good quality football in this conference. You have Houston, you have Memphis, Tulsa is good. SMU put up a good fight the other day. And you got Cincinnati in the East, East Carolina, UCF, and South Florida as well. This is a good quality conference that come bowl time, they're going to put headaches on one of those Power 5 conferences.
Great punt there by Jonathan King. And the Golden Eagles will let it roll. They'll pick it up around the 30-yard line. We'll be right back. You're watching American Athletic Conference. Welcome back to college football here on ESPN. 7-3 your score. The Cougars of University of Houston over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. Rush yards for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, negative 20, Greg. Excuse me, George. And Houston, 43 yards. That's big for the University of Houston Cougars.
Oh, you always want to be able to run the football, no matter whether you are a high school team, NFL team, college team. If you can't run the football, it limits you to what you can do even in the pass game.
Ward, 4 for 6, 32 yards passing, 4 rushes for 39 yards. And U of H, 75 total yards there. And plus the 3 they got there, we'll call it 78. 2nd down coming up here for the Cougs.
You're going to see a couple different people in the backfield for Houston. Right now, Ryan Jackson, we saw a heavy dose of Kenneth Farrow. But Tom Herman, with his up-tempo offense, he's going to rotate his guys a lot.
Handoff coming to your near side. DeMarcus Ayers. And he's brought down for a gain. You talked about Chance Allen a little earlier. You talked about the backfield. Now you talk about their wide receivers. Chance Allen from Oregon, what do you like about this guy?
He's fast, first and foremost. He's fast, and he has big-time Division I college experience.
And right there again was DeMarcus Ayers, grabs the first down for the Cougs.
We're seeing a heavy dose of Ayers. He's gotten in the rounds. He has caught a number of passes so far through the game. And you know that Tom Herman, he knows that, okay, I got to get him the ball, but I also have to make sure he's getting the proper amount of rest because they are not deep at that wide receiver position.
1st and 10 here for University of Houston. Greg Ward on the play action. Ward wants to go long. Ward goes long. Ward has a man. Inside the 15-yard line, and we talked about him earlier, number 21, Chance Allen, your boy.
Yeah, he's a big play guy. I mean, he is. This is why Houston was so excited to get him. He had to sit out, but now he's coming in and he's paying dividends.
34-yard catch there for Allen. Next up for the Cougs, Greg Ward hits a man on the nearest on the far side. And that was Mario Donnell bringing him down. DeMario Donnell, the senior from Nashville, Tennessee. And they go right back into the hurry-up offense. 2nd down here for the Cougs. Here's the handoff right up the middle. Kenneth Farrow. Farrow looking for a first down.
We see the same thing out of all of these kind of hurry-up, spread offenses. It looks like it is just like you're spreading you out and there's some sort of trick inside run, but no, it's not. It's just power football up front out of the shotgun.
First down here for the Cougs. Greg Ward. Ward gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars.
Ward is showing us the whole package right now. He missed on a couple of those deep passes earlier in the game, but he just hit Chance Allen. He said, instead of trying to lead it perfectly for a touchdown, I'm going to have to just hit the man, take the big play, and then we will live to fight another day. We'll hit those home runs when they come.
Kyle Bullard on for the extra point. Kick is up, and the extra point is good. 14-3, and the Cougs lead this one by 11. You see Ward showing some leadership right there, getting some coaching there also from Major Applewhite. Let's take a look at this replay here. Ward just mans himself right into the end zone. He knew what he wanted to do, and he went right into the end zone with the football.
This is old school football. Yes, it is the quarterback running. Yes, they are in the spread, but that's just student body left, student body right. You get everybody, and instead of the quarterback not being accounted for by the defense, you actually have an extra blocker because you turn your running back into a blocker, and now the defense is at a big-time disadvantage when the quarterback can actually run the ball like a running back.
University of Houston getting off to a good start here. On that last drive, 7 plays, 68 yards, 2 minutes and 10 seconds there for the Cougs. Great amount of time to get the ball into the end zone there.
This is what we saw at Ohio State. You're going to see Tom Herman, Major Applewhite. This is what they wanted to do. Have an explosive offense. There are 2 keys to winning football games. People think it's time of possession. People think it's controlling the line of scrimmage. No. If you have explosive plays on offense and you win the turnover battle, you will win the ball. You will win the game 98 to 99% of the time. You win the turnover battle and you have explosive plays. That is runs over 12 yards and passes over 16 yards. You win both of those, you will win football games more often than you lose.
Ty Cummins on to kick off for the Cougs. Booming kick. And they're going to give Ladarius Van Leer a chance. No, he's going to take it inside the end zone. And they're going to start their drive here at the 20-yard line. We haven't had a chance to see much of Darian Van Leer on the kick return. He only needs 16 yards for a school record.
He might not get them today because the Tennessee Tech defense has not been able to make the Houston offense punt. So he's not getting them there. But then he also is not getting an opportunity to get any kick returns. And it's not a lot of wind blowing. And the Houston kicker is putting it in the end zone every time. So I don't think it's going to matter which way they're kicking, which end they're going on. He's probably not going to get a whole lot of opportunities to touch the ball tonight.
You mentioned not a lot of wind blowing. Welcome to Houston, Texas.
Yeah,
a lot of dry heat down here. The Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles would start it again. And Jared Davis makes a move to the outside. And Davis tries to get some yardage, but he does. He grabs 2 yards, and he's brought down by number 16, Adrian McDonald, the 5'10", 195-pound sophomore from Lawton, Oklahoma.
That's the one place that Tennessee Tech has been able to find a little bit of success against the Houston Cougars is on the outside. They've been able to stretch it out, fake that dive inside, and make those Houston Cougars actually make some decisions instead of tackling the first guy with the ball.
Davis hits McCoy. And McCoy is hit hard by number 44, Landon Roberts. He does grab a 2-yard gain. Nevertheless, third down coming up here for the Eagles.
You don't have to try to find Landon Roberts. You don't have to try to find him. He's going to show up on your screen every single time. You saw him with a big punishing hit there. And that one right there is on the quarterback. That's on Jared Davis. If that ball doesn't come out high, he gives Brock McCoy an opportunity to get more yards.
Last year, 43 catches for 517 yards and 2 touchdowns for McCoy. Davis rolls out, looks for a man, nobody home. Fourth down coming up here for Tennessee Tech. Pass was intended for number 2. That was Jordan Smith for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
Pressure, pressure, pressure. Houston has been able to get pressure on Jared Davis, whether they brought a blitz or whether they've just been rushing their front four. And Tennessee Tech, when they're just rushing forward, they're gonna have to find a way to give him time.
56 total yards for Tennessee Tech, 143 total yards for the Houston Cougars. On third down for Tennessee Tech, 3 and out. 3 out of 4 possessions, 3 and outs. DeMarcus Ayers with the punt return. Ayers has a little racing room. Dancing, has a seam. To the 50, to the 40, a flag on the play. Will it come back? I don't know, but this crowd will go wild. DeMarcus Ayers into the end zone, but there is laundry on the field around the 23-yard line. If it stands, it'll be an 81-yard punt return.
That just shows you how explosive this kid is. I know this may come back.
Tom Herman's not happy.
No, Ayers is the most not happy. He makes a bunch of guys miss here. And right here, he turns on the Jets. The last man to beat is the punter. And you cannot be a 10-pin returner. A 10-pin returner is when you got to get everybody on the other end knocked down for you to score a touchdown. You got to be able to make a play.
14-3 your score here from Houston, Texas. We'll be right back. You're watching college football on ESPN. Welcome back to the second quarter of action here in Houston, Texas. The Houston Cougars lead this one 14-3. As we saw while you were away, we did have one play there, and Greg Ward for an 11-yard loss. It will be 2nd and 21 coming up here for the Houston Cougars. Talking a little bit more about head coach Tom Herman, George. He coached at 5 Texas schools before University of Houston. Texas Lutheran, Rice, SMU, I think it was, and was it Baylor?
He's been all over the place. And this is one of the hard things about being a coach in general, is that when you are looking to, build your resume, get a head coaching job, it doesn't always come fast. He's had to make a bunch of trips. He's been all over Texas, Texas Lutheran, Texas, Sam Houston State, Texas State, Rice. then Ohio State. He's been all over the place, and that's where you get your seasoning as a coach. He has perfected his offense. You saw last year they were able to essentially play with 3 quarterbacks. A guy in Braxton Miller who twice finished in the top 10 in the Heisman voting. You lose him. Then you get J.T. Barrett coming in, playing well. He gets hurt. Then you got Cardale Jones. A lot of that has to do with Tom Herman and how great of a coordinator he is.
2nd and 21 here for Houston Cougars. Ward hands off the ball. Kenneth Farrell, no gain there.
If you're Tennessee Tech, you have to get off the field right now. This is what shows there's not a whole lot of plays in the playbook for this 3rd and 21. Not a whole lot of plays. So you just have to play good, solid defense and tackle what's in front of you and find a way to get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, because if you give Greg Ward enough time, he will find one of these athletic guys, whether it's Chance Allen or Ayers or any of these guys, for the ball.
Ward drops back to pass. Has a receiver. And what a move. Chance Allen, you just talked about it, trying to get some yardage there. They'll punt the ball here on 4th down, but how important is it for Tennessee Tech? You talked about them getting off the field. How much of a factor would that be to get them off the field right here?
Oh, that was paramount. That was paramount to their defense building a little bit of confidence. They were able to get a big loss on 1st down and then get off the field. If you're Houston right now, you've run a ton of offensive players. And before that play, most people might not have seen him, but right before that screen, Ayers actually had a little, he lost his lunch.
Ladarius Van Leer. He's brought down by number 16 there for the University of Houston Cougars, Bear Farrenmore from Austin, Texas.
They haven't been able to get Manley loose on punt returns. He hasn't had an opportunity on kick returns. And in their regular offense, they've been diving him straight down the middle. There's not a lot of room there. If I'm Coach Watson Brown, I want to get him out on the outside, get him out on some swing passes where he can get the ball in space, because he's a little jitterbug. So it's very difficult for people to tackle him in space. But the question is, how do you find the space? And that's what the Tennessee Tech coaches are going to have to do.
Golden Eagles out the Ohio Valley Conference. Schools like Tennessee State, Murray State,
Austin Peay,
Eastern Kentucky, as Davis goes long to McCoy. Has a man, has a seam to the 20, to the 10, inside the end zone, touchdown. 71-yard catch there by Brock McCoy, and the Golden Eagles save the day.
They needed that. They needed a big play. They needed their offense to come out and give them some opportunity. And you see here, Jared Davis, he could have tried to make a perfect touch throw, but he allowed McGloin to make a play. He allowed his receiver to catch the ball, make the play for him. He broke a tackle. That's what happens when you try to tackle people open field. It is very difficult.
Here comes the extra point for the Golden Eagles. The kick is up, and the kick is good. The Golden Eagles hanging in there. 14-10 your score from TDECU Stadium in Houston. You're watching American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. One play for 71 yards. It only took 12 seconds for the Golden Eagles to get inside the end zone on that last drive, George.
Big play, big play. Brock McGloin, over 100 yards already, and most of it came on 2 huge plays. If you are Coach Tom Herman, you are very upset. You know that you wanted to get big plays, but you can't be giving up big plays, no matter how well your offense is playing. That's not a good sign. But it is the first game.
Brock McCoy, 5 catches for 125 yards. That's Tyreek Gray from Houston Lamar High School as he gets into Tennessee Tech territory. A 46-yard gain there for Tyreek Gray.
That's how you take a little bit of the wind out of the Texas Tech Saints. You have a big return. They missed the tackle early, and he's just tough, hard runner, and it takes a bunch of guys to bring him down.
Tennessee Tech hanging with the Cougars here out of the American Athletic Conference. You talked about earlier, UConn. We didn't get a chance to finish. UConn, Cincinnati, Eastern Carolina. And then next week, the Houston Cougars travel to Louisville to play a big game. Then they go to Texas State.
Yeah, Louisville, they put up a big fight today against Auburn. They didn't capitalize as much on the turnovers that they would have liked to, but this is going to be a good test next week for the Houston club as well. But they're not just exactly walking out of the park with this one. They're going to have to take care of business, and Tennessee Tech is fighting really hard.
That's DeMarcus Ayers there on the catch, grabbing some yardage for the Cougs. Trying to get DeMarcus Ayers into the game. Cougs lead 14-10. Greg Ward hits him again, keeping him into the mix. Yardage after yardage after yardage. And you know what? I'm looking over there at that sideline, George, and the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, they're excited over there. They've got some adrenaline pumping. They know they're in this contest.
Their coach, Watson Brown, talked about this is a big stage for these players. This is a big stage for these players. They get a chance to hit Division I players that were more highly recruited than they were, like Kenneth Farrow. And they get the chance to show, you know what, I can go out and do this just as well. And when NFL scouts are looking at film of some of these Houston players, they're gonna turn on the tape. And then if you're from Tennessee Tech and you stand out, that's where you get noticed.
Looks as though the ball is just about inches, and I think they're going to bring out the chains here. Doing everything they can to get that extra inch.
Well, if you're Tennessee Tech, you hope this is short.
And it is.
I would imagine, though, that with the success that Houston has been able to have running the football, and you're kind of in no man's land, too long for a field goal, really too short to be a real advantageous punt unless you get it inside the 10-yard line.
4th and short here for the Cougs, and they're going to go for it. The fans here at TDECU Stadium on their feet. Greg Ward out the pistol. Ward will keep it himself and a spin move into first down territory and a whole lot more inside the red zone and inside the end zone. Touchdown Cougs, a 41-yard rushing touchdown for Greg Ward.
This is the trouble with defending against the spread option. Even though it is power football, at the same time, you do have to defend against the quarterback. And when you have a quarterback as dynamic and electric with his feet as Greg Ward Jr. is, he can give you trouble. And right there, that was an explosive play to match what Tennessee Tech just did when getting their big touchdown.
20-10 your score. Cal Bullard on to make it 21-10. Extra point is up. And the extra point is good. 21-10 your score, and the Cougars lead the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. We'll be right back. You're watching college football on ESPN. It took 4 plays and 50 yards and 1 minute and 33 seconds for the Houston Cougars to get inside the end zone. Greg Ward Jr., 173 total yards, 99-yard passing, 74 yards rushing, 2 rushing TDs on the night for Greg Ward. As Ladarius Van Leer tries to set a record, he still doesn't have it yet. Did he get it?
I think he did.
You think he did?
Where's it at? It's on the 19-yard line. Yeah.
He got it?
Yeah, it wasn't spectacular, but it's in the record book, though.
I think he needed 16 yards.
Yeah. That's that's been his highlight for today. He's been able to, he was able to break the record, but on the offensive end, Houston has just been shutting him down. And now they're going to move him out to the slot to try to find a way to get him the ball.
Van Leer in motion. And a false start there by the Golden Eagles. Number 71, William Chapman from Kennesaw, Georgia. Now the fans get into the game. How much does that help the Cougars?
Big plays will do that. Big plays will do it. And it's always fun when your crowd gets energized and okay, all right, let's make a play. The crowd is going to respond. These Cougars have a proud football tradition. They have a Heisman winner. They have great quarterbacks in their history.
Jerry Davis hands off to Ladarius Van Leer. And brought down by Stephen Taylor, the junior from Cedar Hill High School. 7-yard gain there for the Golden Eagles. Make it 2nd and 8 here. Give me 2nd and 7. Davis rolls out the gun. Back to pass. Catches a man. It's number 24, Demetrius Watson from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
This is a smart play by the Tennessee Tech coach. Instead of just trying to go big play for big play, they know that they need to get third and manageable situations the way they can give Jared Davis an opportunity to win with his arm or potentially run the football to convert for the third down.
They're going to line up 3 wide and they stay in the gun. Van Leer in motion. And the handoff goes to Radir Anur. And Stephen Taylor there on the tackle again. He's been all over the place.
He's a player that's not afraid to come up and make a play. Sometimes in the secondary, you have guys, because he's playing that rover position. You have guys that don't want to come up and make tackles, but he's like a hybrid defensive back / linebacker, and he goes out and his job is to make plays.
Jonathan King back deep to punt. Averaged 42 yards last season. DeMarcus Ayers. And he will defer. And the Golden Eagles will let it roll inside the 15-yard line. Cougars have a little bit of work to do here as they'll start it from the 14-yard line. Beautiful sight here in Houston.
On their scoring drives, they haven't taken a whole lot of time. So it's just important for them, the Houston Cougars, to continue to build, because it's not just for this game. It's how are you going to execute throughout the season. You build that consistency. You build that trust. You build that camaraderie with the way that you start the season. You haven't seen a whole lot of penalties. You haven't seen a whole lot of mental mistakes. They've been executing. It's just the physical, like the timing of some of these Greg Ward throws on the defense.
Greg Ward on the keeper as he gets past the 15-yard line. We talked about the camaraderie. Tom Herman was able to get here right before the spring football season, and they were able to get their spring football practice in. How much did that make a difference in this football team?
Oh, it's big, because this is not a simple offense. While it's built on simple concepts, it takes a while to get all the reads down. It's taking Greg Ward a while, and you're going to see him improve on that even as the season goes along.
Greg Ward stands back there all by himself, and ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Third down here for the Cougars.
Watson Brown, the coach of Tennessee Tech, this is what he said. He said, I want to get Houston in some long yardage as many times as possible, because that's where they feel that they have an opportunity to win.
Watson Brown, the older coach, the older brother of former Texas head coach Mack Brown. 3rd and 9. Greg Ward playing pinball back there. Ward has racing room. And laundry on the field around the 11-yard line.
Doesn't matter who your quarterback is. You get pressure on him, he cannot throw the football. Greg Ward has been electric with his legs. But Houston already knew that. He was able to show that in the 8 games that he played last year.
So Watson Brown will decline this penalty. He'll take the 4th down from the Cougars here.
Another stop for Tennessee Tech. Another stop.
2 in a row.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for them to come back right before. Well, they're still 8 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the second quarter. But this is a chance for them to flip some of this momentum. If they can go into halftime, either down by a field goal or potentially tied, that'll give Tennessee Tech a lot of confidence, and that's how upsets happen.
Ladarius Wilson will down the punt. Ladarius Van Leer. Ladarian Van Leer from Nashville, Tennessee. Passed up a lot of schools to get to Tennessee Tech. Vanderbilt right there, where also Watson Brown used to be the head coach.
Yeah. You know, he's not a big guy. And sometimes coaches, they look down upon that. They don't always necessarily see the talent associated with the kid. And he needs to go somewhere else where he can get that shine. And we've seen NFL players come from, everywhere. Look at Joe Flacco.
That's right. University of Delaware.
Yeah, coming from small schools. You've seen a number of other players, and wide receivers, skill position players. And once they get there, they get an opportunity and they make plays.
Jordan Davis. Back to pass, looking for McCoy. Almost intercepted there by number 3, William Jackson. The transfer from Trinity Valley.
I want to see Jarrett Davis complete. Well, he's completed some of these big throws, but they have all been slightly underthrown. And right there, he had his man McGloin. He beat the Houston Cougars cornerback right there, and they have not been able to cover him in one-on-one coverage, and you know that they're going to have to continue to try to exploit that.
There's Van Leer as he's brought down. I think he may have lost 3. Number 26 there, Brandon Wilson. Let's take a look at this. Brandon Wilson just came from nowhere. Right there out of the screen. Brandon Wilson from Shreveport.
Your DBs, they have to be able to come in and knife in. While you're playing a FCS school, you still want to come in and show that you're doing the right things if you're Houston. And that is going to translate when they play against Memphis, when they play against Tulsa, when they play against the other top teams in this conference, in the American Conference.
John O'Quinn Field here in Houston, Texas. And the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles take a timeout. We'll keep it right here. George, 3rd and long here for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. Obviously, they're still trying to stay inside this contest. What is Watson Brown telling his team over there on the sideline?
Telling his team to continue to protect the football. They haven't had a turnover, and that's how these games can potentially get out of hand. He's saying, let's get a good play. If we don't get a first down, let's make sure that we secure the football. And he's telling his quarterback, Jarrett Davis, do not be careless with the ball, just trying to make a play. Our defense has been able to get a couple stops. If we don't convert, let's get a good punt, cover the punt, and then we'll continue to score.
Let's take a look at their upcoming schedule. As we talked about, they're going to Louisville next week. Then they come back home and play Texas State. Then you get into Tulsa, and then you get into your conference schedule, SMU, Tulane, UCF. Then they're going to even play Vanderbilt this year. That's going to be a big game for them.
That Louisville game is going to say a lot about this team, this Houston team, and where they're headed this year. If they can find a way to beat Louisville, that Bobby Petrino coach team, that will say that they are definitely ready to be in one of those 3-year 6 bowls for the non-Power 5 conference.
3rd and long here for the Golden Eagles. And Davis drops it but picks it right back up as he gets it off to Radir Amore. Right brought down by Kelvin Malro. A gain of 1. 4th down coming up here for you talked about it. You got to secure the football there. But he picked it back up.
I always feel bad for the running back in those situations because the quarterback, you see him, he picks up the ball. He knows that he dropped it, but he's like, here, you take the hit. Here you go. Here you go. You run the ball. Let me keep myself upright and clean.
Here's the punt, and back deep to receive is DeMarcus Ayers. Ayers will down it inside the 15-yard line.
That was a good punt. That's the best punt that we've seen out of Tennessee Tech all season. all season. Yeah, exactly.
All season. Right. The opening game.
And there's a penalty on the field.
A lot of college football this past Thursday and also last night. Man, what were your impressions of the first week of college football so far?
It was just exciting. You had a couple big matchups. You had a couple big matchups. You got another big matchup tomorrow between Ohio State and Virginia Tech.
Right.
I think that this college football season is going to be wide open. You have Ohio State who has guys injured. You're not sure what they're going to do at quarterback. Repeating is probably one of the most difficult things to do in sports. And although they have an easy schedule, Michigan State is not going to be a pushover.
That's right.
And then in the Pac-12 and the SEC, which are probably the 2 best conferences in the country this year.
Pac-12 in there, huh?
It is. It's probably the best conference in all of football this season. I don't want to talk about historically, but just this year and last year, I think that from top to bottom, it was the best.
Utah upsetting University of Michigan on their home field Thursday night.
I don't know if I would call that an upset.
That's
yeah,
right, yeah.
Well, because Utah's ranked, and Jim Harbaugh is, he's just trying to get things straight over there at Michigan, and that's exactly what Tom Herman is trying to do over here at Houston. He's trying to get the culture the way that he wants it, able to recruit the type of athlete that he wants, and play the type of football that he knows that these guys can play.
Greg Ward working out the gun. Play action. Has a man. And just couldn't hit number 88, Stephen Dunbar, the sophomore from Metairie, Louisiana.
Houston feels like a very, a destination for coaches.
Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah. And
Art Browse.
Exactly. So you have these guys in there, and it's unfortunate that it's been a stepping stone for some of those guys, and maybe Tom Herman is looking at expanding the team and expanding this team into a team that can potentially be like a Boise State.
The Cougars 2 for 6 on 3rd down conversions here. Can they make it 3 for 7? Greg Ward, 5 wide. Ward across the middle. Has a receiver and a 1st down and a whole lot more. Number 10, DeMarcus Ayers. And Ayers into Golden Eagle territory.
I thought Tom Herman told us that he didn't want to overuse his wide receiver because he was thin. I mean, Ayers, he's got to be tired. In the first game of the season, you have nerves, right? And you have your conditioning because it's good a shape that you're in. You're not in game shape. Your mind isn't there. And then it's so humid outside. I'm going to watch him in the second half, though. See how his body continues to hold up.
Ward wants to go long. Will have to use his legs here. No racing room. Golden Eagles. Jay Rudwall with the sack there for a 5-yard loss. A great defensive play there by the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
That's the tough part about quarterbacks who, in their past, have run the ball instead of, making the quote-unquote good quarterback play, which is to get rid of the ball right there. You know that Tom Herman and Major Applewhite are going to look at this film and they're going to say, Greg, just throw it away right there, buddy. Just throw the ball away. Live to fight another day. Don't lose 5 yards.
2nd and long here for the Cougs. Drops it right back in the hands of DeMarcus Ayers. DeMarcus Ayers fighting through traffic as he steps across the 45-yard line. 3rd down coming up here for the Cougs.
The coaches for Houston, they played it a little bit coy with us. They didn't tell us that Ayers was going to get the ball every other play.
Right.
I mean, the offense is essentially Pharaoh, getting the ball, but it's been Ayers left, Ayers right, Ayers through the air. Greg Ward on his feet.
Greg Ward works out the gun again, 5 wide, sends a man in motion. Ward looks into the backfield. Has a man. And a first down there for the Houston Cougars. Number 22, Ryan Jackson, the senior from Angleton, Texas. One thing that the Cougars, and looks as though Tom Herman is trying to do here, George, he is recruited home. He's got a lot of Texas guys on this football team.
Well, a lot of these guys he inherited.
Inherited, too.
And that's right. What you're going to get at the University of Houston, because you got Texas, you got Texas Tech, you got Texas A&M, who are trying to take up a lot of the recruits in the Texas area. So you got to find some of these gems, some of those guys that they're passing up.
DeMarcus Ayers again. And across the 30-yard line, or just on the 30-yard line as he's brought back. DeMarcus Ayers with the 6-yard gain.
He's going to need a cold tub after this game. I mean, they're running them left, running them right. You see how agile he is. And this reminds me of what Lane Kiffin does over at Alabama and what he did at USC as the coordinator, what Major Applewhite is doing with Ayers. You just find a guy who's a playmaker and you just feed the meter.
Double pistol formation for the Cougs. Here's the handoff right up the middle, and it's Ryan Jackson across the first down marker. A 12-yard gain here for the Houston Cougars.
And another explosive play for those same Houston Cougars.
Ward hands right back off to Ryan Jackson as the pile pushes forward. As they're inside the red zone.
I'm liking Ryan Jackson. This is like a thunder and lightning thing they got going with Jackson and Farrell. Farrell's more of a pounder. He's not going to beat you necessarily with his speed, but you see a lot more explosion out of Ryan Jackson.
The 10th play of this drive here for the Houston Cougars. And it looks as though we're going to take, I think somebody may have called a timeout. Under review. So the replay rule comes into effect here. They're going to review it upstairs in the booth.
How do you feel about this, though? They're calling a review because the offense goes super fast, and the defense tried to sub.
Right.
And maybe they didn't get. Maybe he still has a foot
on, right.
on the field. Should this be a penalty?
The rule may stand in the rule book. I guess I have to say, and here it is right here. Let's see if we can see it over there, up top on the 20-yard line. Did he get off in time?
No.
No. He's got 2 feet on the field.
No, and
he still has 6 feet to go. That's a penalty, my friend.
But who reviews this though? If the coaches or the officials initially miss it, I don't think it should be reviewed unless the other coach throws a penalty.
It looks like you can take a look at our camera. Our cameramen have been doing our production team has been doing a great job so far tonight. Got some good shots there. Not sure who he's talking to.
There's just something to be said about getting it in the moment. I know that you want to get things right as officials, but something like that, if they don't catch it initially on the field, I don't want it reviewed.
Greg Ward so far, total yardage 240. 161 of those have been passing yards, 79 have been rushing yards. This Greg Ward is putting up some good numbers in his first game here this season. Here's the call. So they will give him some yardage here. Let's take a look at the third down conversions. Tennessee Tech 1 for 7. University of Houston 3 for 8 here. Can they make it 4 for 9? They'll talk about it real quick on defense. Do the Golden Eagles. And with that, I think they They will line the ball. Where are they going to line that football up? They'll line it up inside the 15 at about the 12.
This where it gets a little bit good. You have to be good at math to be an official sometimes. They just ask you to, and instead of just calling penalties, you can say, okay, 8 plus 6 equals 14. How many yards is that? What yard line are we on?
For you high school football fans out there watching, make sure you pay attention to your high school math teacher. Here's a handoff. The University of Houston Cougars, number 35, Kenneth Farrow from Hurst, Texas. Brought down by Tredarius Goff, the senior from Columbia, Tennessee. And here they go back into that hurry-up offense. Here's the handoff. Right up the gut, and it's a fumble. Not sure if he was down, but it was recovered by number 63, Ben Dew, all the way from New Zealand.
And that's the first time that we've seen the ball on the ground today. That is such a big play for Houston to recover it, because you never want to lose a play you never want to lose the ball inside the red zone.
Greg Ward out the gun, trying to get his team into the end zone. Here's the handoff, right up the gut. And number 22, Ryan Jackson, is stopped short. A helmet comes off. Number 99, Kevin Robinson White, for the Golden Eagles. He will have to come off for a possession.
Yeah, and Zach Johnson, who was in at left tackle, he loses his shoe. His shoe.
Now, does he have to come off the field for a play as well?
Well, if he can't get it on in time, the way as quick as they're running plays, absolutely. But the coach is going to be mad because he's slowing the team down.
2nd and goal here for the Houston Cougars. Trying to get back into the end zone. Greg Ward leading his team. And more whistles down below. 30-second timeout there for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. 21-10 your score. Watson Brown wants to talk about it. Big possession here for the Houston Cougars. They're trying to get into the end zone. But how big would this stop be for Tennessee Tech?
Oh, this would give, if they can hold Houston to a field goal, and then with around a minute and 30 seconds to go in the half, and find a way to get another big play and either get a field goal or a touchdown before the half, and to go back in the half down around 7 points. Then you say, wow, maybe this could be the day. Right. Like maybe this could be the Appalachian State Michigan Badge.
Houston Cougars trying to get inside the end zone themselves. Major Applewhite on the sidelines trying to get them in. This is the 12th play of the drive here for the Houston Cougars. It's taken them 12. Well, this will be number 12. Greg Ward lines up 3 wide. Pistol offense. And a fumble snap. I'm not sure how that deflected to the left. He may have hit it off his back leg on the snap. Here's the call.
Infraction, number 73, the offense. So 5-yard penalty remains, second down. These are second game clock to 1 minute, 43 seconds. 1-4-3.
And that's the center, Colton Freeman, all the way from San Angelo, Texas. He's the redshirt freshman. Here's the time of possession for both teams. You talked about it earlier. This may not be a factor tonight, but leading the way right here with 15 minutes and 37 seconds, the Houston Cougars have held the ball the longest tonight. Now this is where it gets interesting.
We talked about that snap infraction with Colton Freeman.
They won 1 minute and 43 seconds on the clock there.
You saw the whole entire Houston line cutting to the right. Everybody was moving hard to the right, and sometimes the center can be moving a little bit too fast and snap the ball off his leg, and I think that's what happened.
I've never seen that before. There's a first for everything here in Houston, Texas. Greg Ward will keep it himself on the keeper as he runs across the 10-yard line. Brought down by Brady Rose, the freshman from Ashland City, Alabama. Third down coming up here.
Watson Brown talked about he wanted to rotate his kids a lot. He wanted them all to get a lot of experience playing a big-time team like Houston, because it is going to do them wonders when they get to their Ohio Valley Conference schedule.
3rd and goal. Greg Ward sends him out 5 wide. Ward drops back. Ward looks into the end zone. Nobody home. Chance Allen couldn't reel it in. 4th down here for the Cougars. Tennessee Tech playing some good defense here, as Cal Bullard lines up for the 3. All the way from Boerne, Texas. It'll be a 26-yard field goal. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 3 more points for the Houston Cougars. They now lead 24-10. We'll be right back. You're watching American Athletic Conference football here on ESPN. (24-10) your score. The Cougars over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. And on that last drive, it took the Cougs 14 plays, 86 yards. And Georgia did take them 6 minutes and 9 seconds to get inside the end zone.
That's a good lengthy drive, but you want to come away with points from that if you are Houston. The Houston mascot, though, he's excited about what's going on.
Is he doing the nay-nay, or
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He's excited because he's one of probably only a few mascots who actually has a female and a male mascot for a team.
Ladarius Van Leer trying to put some moves on the Houston Cougars. The Houston Cougars. And he has racing room. And I think he tripped himself up there. He got a little bit too excited, huh?
That's the guy we were talking about. That is the guy that we were talking about. So he gets the ball all the way out to, the 36-yard line on a return that looked dead from the beginning. He goes right and returns field, and you see how fast he is there. This is a case of he tried to make one too many moves instead of just using his speed, beating him down, but at the same time, that's a great return. It actually gives Tennessee Tech an opportunity to score in 42 seconds. They're going to need a big play, but at least now they have an opportunity instead of starting at the 20-yard line. 36-yard kickoff return there by Ladarius Van Leer. They're going to start things here from their own 36-yard line. Jordan Davis still stands behind the center. Davis on the handoff, and he puts it in the hands of Ladarius Van Leer. A 2-yard gain there for the Golden Eagles. It's a little more conservative than I thought that Tennessee Tech was going to be. I thought they might come out and take a shot downfield simply because they don't really have anything to lose at this point in time. They need to get some points on the board before this half is over with.
And looking at their passing completion average yardage, 18.7 yards per pass completion for the quarterback today, Jared Davis.
Well, part of it is because they've had 2 enormous plays.
Brock McCoy. And McCoy's in motion. Davis puts it back in the hands of Radir Anor. And that will do it here for the first half. 30 minutes played here at TDECU Stadium. And the Houston Cougars lead this one 24-10.
It's been all Houston, but stick around though.
24-10 your score. You're watching the American Athletic Conference football here on ESPN. Stick around. Don't move.
All excited to book that vacation flight. Plenty of seats to choose from, right? But The minute you try to use reward miles from your airline credit card, it's slim pickings. The flights you want, sorry, they ask for a ridiculous number of miles. Time to switch to the Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you'll earn unlimited double miles. And using those miles is easy. Just book any flight you want on any airline, then use your miles to cover the cost. No blackout dates. What's in your wallet?
I'm going these guys. Forget all this analysis stuff. You better believe it on me. Forget about it. Here comes the head here.
Traditions aren't planned. They just happen. They take hold. We don't always know how or why or even what they mean. We just know.
There's something strange about a crowd waiting for a grown man to put on the mask I had, isn't it? I can't wrap my mind around it.
You got the whole morning building to that moment, and as soon as he puts the headgear on, you can kick the games off.
We all, including us, just eagerly await the last 20 seconds of the show when he's going to put the headgear on, and we just don't know what's going to happen.
Look out. What are you doing here?
How about that dog?
There you go. Dip up through the bratwurst. Here you go.
Pick Auburn to lose, okay? Auburn loses.
In 19 seasons, at 50 schools, there's been one moment.
The purple cow.
Cows! Okay, sweetheart. Off we go into the wild world.
Well, the Irish get their wish.
Look at his side.
So where did it all begin? A coach becoming an icon for putting on a mascot head? With Brutus the Buckeye in 1996.
Game day back on the road again. Chris Fowler along with the homecoming king of Columbus, Lee Corso. He brought his Indiana team in here a lot.
He got a craziest idea. He said to me, my wife was a former cheerleader at Ohio State, would Allison be willing to talk to the cheerleader advisor and see if I could put on Brutus the head?
They had to do some very high-level, tense negotiations.
It was a huge deal, the fact that they were going to let him wear the Brutus headgear for that first show.
I like Ohio State 24-13.
All right, good pick. I'm telling you one thing. Buckeyes!
I'll never forget sitting there, and I'm looking over at him. It's the craziest thing to see Brutus, his head, on Lee Corso with a tie on in a suit.
Let's just examine the Brutus head. It's a head representing a nut, a two-tone nut.
I like the Buckeyes!
With a little hat, like the kind Woody Hayes used to wear with the block O on it. So it's ridiculous looking. You can't help but laugh.
And it just clicked. It was like, that works.
For Brutus and Kirk, I'm Chris. Goodbye.
The meeting of coach and cranium has never stopped working. There's been weaponry.
Oh! What are you doing? You got the gun. They got it!
Is ever a good idea to put an elderly gentleman in a position where he's holding a gun?
Maybe Crockett! Come on, Notre Dame, go Vols!
Tell you what, he seemed real comfortable with that gun in his hand.
So he needs a little help. Here we go. Look out for the gun.
It is really freaking loud. You have a gun shut off and then amplified in 4 microphones.
One gun wasn't enough. It was 2 guns. So they want to go double-barreled and 2 guns.
Go take a shot!
You get a little nervous, like I always ask, the guns aren't loaded, right, Coach?
Okay, go!
That thing's powerful.
There's been wildlife.
But that dog is ugly. Give me this thing here. That's an ugly dog.
Between dogs and Smokey and ducks in swimming pools, yeah, we definitely have had our fair share of zoo moments.
We thank you for watching Sesame Street.
There's been history.
As special guests, we would like to be referred to as Old Ben.
Old Ben.
The next thing you know, he comes out. He's dressed like Ben Franklin.
I used to fly that kite, and I like air. Illinois throws a ball.
He's sitting between Kirk and I in a Ben Franklin costume and wig that took apparently 45 minutes to get ready. I'm not even sure he was there for the second half of the show.
All right, what do you got, Old
Penn.
Ben?
I founded Penn. This is my school.
Across time, the headgear has left some painful memories.
I get headbutted a lot.
Here comes the Ibis, trying to devour Kirk.
I really do, and a lot of times I don't know when it's coming. But go Kansas State!
Lee Corso says Big Red is dead.
Willie the Wildcat came in contact with that face, that money-making grill of Herb Street.
Willie the Wildcat and a big win!
Corso picks some schools reliably. He's a perfect 16-0 when picking USC.
When in doubt, ride the Trojans.
Oh, he's got the sword going. Not just the headgear, we have props.
They always picked USC, the Trojan helmet, then that morphed into the entire body armor,
Goodbye, Nebraska!
which in effect was very cheap plastic body armor, some $2 Halloween costume, and a plastic sword.
That's a new hat.
It's a new hat. I mean, we're fun. Air!
Overall, in 249 picks, Corso's been right 69% of the time. Now, of course, it's no longer just a head. It's costumes and characters, scene and spectacle. Corso actually wore his own head.
I believe Corso's going to run around that head.
And almost 2 decades later, one constant remains. The headgear is the highlight.
Nobody loves college football more than Lee Corso. And when he puts on the headgear and he does like a funny wave with the headgear on, it's like, only he could do that.
Welcome back to college football here on ESPN. 24-10, your score as the University of Houston Cougars lead the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. It's been some great action here in the first half, and it's been all Greg Ward. 241 total yards and 2 rush TDs. More college football action when we return. It's American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. Welcome back, and let's check out some of those first half highlights here from TDECU Stadium.
Houston, they have just been pounding the ball when they got inside the 10-yard line. These running backs, Ryan Jackson, you see there, has been able to put it in the end zone over and over again. And the highlights for Tennessee Tech, they've been McGloin. Big play, and big play. They haven't been able to get anybody else going on Texas Tech, but this is a great showing by McGloin himself, which is he's willing this team into a competitive matchup right now. And again, you see for Houston, Greg Ward has been doing it with his arm, he's been doing it with his feet, and it's been getting done exactly what Tom Herman wants. He wants his athlete who's at quarterback to be a quarterback first and an athlete second. And I think that in the second half, I think they're going to challenge him to do a little bit more of that. But out of his defense, he wants no more of this. No more of these big plays for McGloin and for Tennessee Tech. That was a heck of a move, a great individual effort on a slightly underthrown pass. Tackling in the open field is one of the hardest things to do. And Greg Ward just shows his athleticism again and again. Right here, the long 41-yard touchdown. Shows a little toughness at the end, willing to make a move. And see, can't tackle him in a phone booth. Got to get him down around the legs. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. And Houston is going to be a tough draw this season for whoever they play against.
Let's take a look at some of these first half stats. Which stat stands out to you the most here?
The rushing yards. One team is in the red and the other team is in the black. Tennessee Tech, they wanted to get Vanley the ball a lot. They wanted to get Ladarius opportunities, flank him out wide, but his biggest play has been on kickoff return for a 36-yard kickoff return, and that's not even that long of a kickoff return. And Houston has been able to run the ball. They've been able to get it to Farrow. They've been able to get it to Ryan Jackson. But also, Greg Ward has been explosive with his feet, and he's been explosive with his arm. In the second half, though, I want to see them spread the ball a little bit more around because their play selection here, it's pretty close to balance for both teams. But the overwhelming stat is you see only 25 plays for Tennessee Tech. And for Houston, you got 42 plays. That wears on your defense if you are Tennessee Tech. Because if you double that in the second half, that's 84 plays to only 50.
Right.
So you're not putting a whole lot of strain on the Houston defense.
Well, that'll do it here for the halftime report. When we return, 30 more minutes of football here from the Bayou City. It's U of H and Tennessee Tech on ESPN.
So what's the best tradition in college football? Take a guess.
Anybody? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. It's the playoff. It's only the second year. It's shiny and new like a little baby that I invented.
Oh, you invented it?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Did you watch last year? Third string QB took home the trophy. Third string, that's you guys. You don't know what's going to happen in that playoff. I can't wait.
Aren't you supposed to be working or something?
Yeah, I am. Let's go, Dr. Bob, here. That look regulation to you? I think it needs more air.
24-10 your score here from the Bayou City. University of Houston and Tennessee Tech doing battle right here at John O'Quinn Field on the campus of University of Houston. First half was a little so-so. Greg Ward led the way for the University of Houston Cougars. On the other side of the football, it was all number 8 for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. The wide receiver, Brock McCoy, getting into the end zone one time, and obviously a field goal to go along with that. But Watson Brown right here, George, he's keeping his team in the game right here. He knows his team has a shot to come out with possibly a win on the road here.
That's why I was a little bit maybe disappointed in the way that Tennessee Tech, even though they had decent field position on that last possession, they had a little under a minute. I wanted to see them be a little more aggressive. That way they could at least potentially attempt a field goal and get the game just a little bit closer and go into the halftime 13-24, maybe even 17-24, to put additional pressure on this Houston team.
As they take the field, the Houston Cougars will receive the football as they deferred in the first half. Tennessee Tech will kick off things. 15 minutes left to go. Opener here in Houston. A lot more football here on the season. You talked about it earlier. It's wide open at the top in college football at the FBS level. Ohio State, University of Alabama, SEC, Pac-12.
You're going to see it very interesting in the 14 playoff. One of the Power 5 conferences is going to get left out. I personally, as of right now, if I had to pick one, it's probably going to be the ACC, because I think that you're going to have a one-loss team coming out of the Big Ten.
Michigan State probably.
Or Ohio State, TCU, or Baylor will get in simply because they got left out last year, and the Pac-12 and SEC champion are getting in.
Back to the action here. It's going to be number 22, Ryan Jackson, getting a kickoff return as he steps across the 35-yard line.
That's really good field position, and you see the difference between how a kicker makes. But a quarterback makes a big difference as well. You got Greg Ward on one end, 80 rush yards, 161 pass yards. That's good work for your quarterback in the first half.
No matter who you're playing against.
Yeah. Whether you're playing against Tennessee Tech, whether you're playing against some of your other conference opponents in the American Athletic Conference, when you get to the Cincinnatis, the East Carolinas, UCF, USF, he's going to need to have these same type of performances.
Greg Ward still under center for Houston. Ward, as he hands off, and that power pushes backwards. Kenneth Farrell. And I think there's some adrenaline down there on both sides of the football here tonight.
There's Tredarius Goff there. After a good stop by Houston, you don't want to nullify that by getting a silly penalty.
2nd and 9. Ward hands off to Ayers. Ayers down the sideline near side. Inside of Golden Eagle territory. Jimmy Laughlin there on the stop for Vestelia, Alabama. A 24-yard run there for Ayers.
And again, they come out giving the ball to their playmaker.
Ward out the double pistol. Right up the gut is Ken Farrell. Farrell taking some time off the clock. Herman coming out with a lot of runs here in the second half.
He wants to establish the run. I have a feeling that in the locker room that he told his team and his coordinator, told Major Applewhite, let's stop the running as much with Greg Ward and actually get the ball to some more of these playmakers and force him to run the ball as well.
And it looks as though the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles come away with the fumble. DeMarcus Ayers on the fumble on the end around. And the Golden Eagles come away with it.
Got to hold on to the football here. This is a play that you've seen many times out of Ohio State. And he did not expect the defender to be coming from the outside. He put his hat on the football, and Rollins was able to recover it.
And that was the first turnover of this contest, George. How crazy is that? In the second half?
Tom Herman told us, turnovers help decide football games. Turnovers and explosive
And there's
plays.
another Jared Davis. The snap goes over his head. And Van Leer gets it right back as he tries to get some of that yardage back. As he tries to get to the outside, as he loses some yardage there for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
That's a heartbreaker. You get a turnover, and you essentially go back and put yourself in such a bad spot. I mean, you go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 20, and the defense had nothing to do with it.
Ladarius Van Leer back to save the day. Jarrett Davis puts it back in the hands of Van Leer. And Van Leer stopped by that big Cougar wall. Stopped by Stephen Taylor from Cedar Hill, Texas.
I want to see Tennessee Tech take a big shot downfield on one of these second downs as opposed to waiting for a third down.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter there, at Nick Strong, George Weister, but make sure you conversate with the game. Hashtag TNTC versus HOU. Tennessee Tech versus University of Houston.
That's a heck of a hashtag right there. And so is TD-ECU Stadium here in Houston.
Jared Davis brought down behind the line of scrimmage. And the Houston Cougars force a 3-and-out.
It makes it so much easier on a defense when you start out behind the 8 ball on first down, like they had that big negative play with that bad snap. Then converting 3rd and 20s is just not going to happen on a regular basis when you don't have Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, and Marvin Harrison out there to throw the ball to.
And how big was that from the defense coming back and getting that 3-and-out after the last turnover possession for the Cougars?
That was big time because it actually nullifies that turnover. And then you get the ball back into Ayers' hands, and then you start out with with pretty good field position around the 35-yard line.
About a 46-yard punt there for Jonathan Arnold for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. So the Cougs get the ball back on their side of the football field. They'll start it from around they'll line it up at the 35-yard line.
These punters have had a busy day today. Tennessee Tech has been significantly more busy than Houston's. This is already his 6th punt of the day. And you got 3 for Logan Piper for Houston. Well, Jonathan King is doing a pretty good job punting for Tennessee Tech, averaging 52 yards at halftime.
Ward looks play action. Has the receiver near side. As he hits Isaiah Johnson, the redshirt freshman from Bryan, Texas. Not sure we can see that replay, but I think his own player may have bumped into him and may have knocked him down there.
Hey, collateral damage. Collateral damage when you're out there blocking. You got to run hard, keep your head on the swivel.
Nevertheless, a first down there for the Cougs. Ward keeps it himself. And a first down for the Cougars. Brought down by Chris McElderry, but a 12-yard gain there for Greg Ward.
That was a keep the other team honest kind of play. That was it looks like we're trying to do something different than we did in the first half, but you better watch out for this quarterback, though.
Greg Ward looks tremendous downstairs. Ward puts it in the hands of Kenneth Farrell as he falls forward for a couple of yards. As you said, Cougars just trying to keep the Golden Eagles honest here. Herman trying to get back into the end zone.
You have a couple different people in the game for Houston. You got Chance Allen at wide receiver, and you have Ayers out of the game. So let's see where they continue to go with the football.
And back to Farrow up the middle, and a first down for the Houston Cougars again. Another rushing first down there for the Cougars, and it was a 17-yard gain. Here comes the hurry-up offense here by University of Houston. And the Golden Eagles were able to get everybody off the field this time. Now another flag on the play. Or another whistle. There's a flag out there around the 25-yard line. So it looks as though this hurry-up offense may even hurt the Cougars every once in a while here. You can't have those false starts there.
It's just them getting used to it, getting used to the tempo. First game of the season. That's Tyler McCluskey. Interesting because Houston was more of a spread team until this year. They didn't even have any tight ends on their roster, and he was a kid who converted over to playing like H-back/tight end.
Greg Ward looks down, checks a receiver. Touchdown! A 23-yard catch there for the Houston Cougars inside the end zone.
That was a huge play. That's just a simple bubble screen that turns into the wide receiver being able to get on his horse and make such a big play. That's actually convert. Yep.
How good did he tightrope that sideline?
That's called a player just wanting. That's a player just wanting it more than another guy does. That's actually converted quarterback Kyle Postma. Tom Herman talked about that his team is so thin at wide receiver that they actually had to convert a quarterback, their third-string quarterback, into a wide receiver. He knows that he's probably not going to see, that left heel might have gone out. That will be so sad. Yeah, I think they got him right there.
No, I know, right. They're going to review it and they're going to check it out, but great concentration there nevertheless. He didn't know he stepped out, but great concentration there nevertheless there for that guy, Kurt Possible.
I've had that happen before in my life, and I'm going to be honest, that hurts. You do all that good work. my first touchdown in the NFL actually should have been called back.
Okay.
Had the replay system been done the same way it is now, it would have gotten disallowed. We were getting blown out.
Right.
I was in Jacksonville. We were getting blown out by the Buffalo Bills.
So this was pre-Tuck rule, no?
Yeah, this is like around the same time.
Okay, before replay.
No, well, there was replay,
okay,
but we were getting blown out, so.
They're going to rule it a touchdown. They're going to rule it a touchdown.
I know he's so happy. Kyle Postma, he's so happy. I mean, he knows he's probably not going to get any time at quarterback this year, but how can he help the team? How can he get on the field? And we've seen other quarterbacks do this as well. Look at Ryan Tannehill in Miami. At Texas A&M. He was a wide receiver starting. He was a 1,000-yard catcher.
Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. The Houston Cougars put 7 more on the board. They lead 31-10. You're watching American Athletic Conference football here on ESPN. It took the Houston Cougars 5 plays, 65 yards in only 2 minutes and 13 seconds. It was a 29-yard pass to Kyle Posma, and he had to tiptoe the sideline just to get inside the end zone after a review.
That's a big play. And those are the type of plays that quarterbacks love because it gets them a stat in the stat book, and you don't want to have to make hero throws every single play. You can get the ball to your playmakers, and then they do the work for you after that.
Kicking off right here, number 47, Ty Cummings for the Houston Cougars. The junior back deep to receive, Van Leer and Anua. And Van Leer is going to have a chance to do a little something here. And not much, as he only gets around the 15-yard line.
This Houston kick coverage team has been doing an excellent job all night, bottling up Van Leer. I mean, he's had few opportunities, and the one that he actually had to reverse field, juke a guy. I mean, it took a lot to get 36 yards. It took an awful lot. It took everything in the tank.
You know, you kind of talked about it earlier. How important is this game for him? I mean, he wants to show the FBS level that he belongs in college football here. He's trying to do what he can.
Yeah, it's tough because wide receivers are only as good as their offensive linemen. They're only as good as the big uglies up front. Wide receivers, the same exact thing. You have to be able to make plays in the blocking. Well, you have to be able to protect the quarterback up front so your star athletes can make plays.
Willie Davis grabs a gain of 2 there for the Golden Eagles. They'll come back with 2nd and 8. Jared Davis still under center for the Golden Eagles. Play action, looking for McCoy, and McCoy comes down with it. Brock McCoy, the sophomore from Livingston, Tennessee, grabs a first down for the Golden Eagles.
I'm impressed with this guy. I mean, everybody knows when the ball is thrown, he's getting it. And he's had a rough night tonight. They've just been feeding the ball to him. But, you know, this is what you want. You get the chance to make big plays in a big game.
An 11-yard gain there for Brock McCoy. Jared Davis on the play action. Coming out the backfield, he has a receiver. And that's number 46, Cooper Jackson from Nashville, Tennessee. And just shy of a first down. So it looks as though Jared Davis coming out with some fire here. Still not out the game yet. 31-10 is your score.
Tennessee Tech is going small ball right here. Instead of just going for the big play every time. Well, I think you're going to have a big play coming, but they're just trying to lull Houston to sleep, just get positive yards on every play.
Davis drops back to pass, using his legs, trying to get out of bounds, and he throws the ball out of bounds. 3rd down and short coming up here for the Golden Eagles. Big 3rd down possession here while you're still inside of the contest here. Only trailing by 21. You're still within reach. 3rd and short here.
That's where you wanted to take a big play. The natural tendency is just to run the ball right there and just pick up the first down. But when you know that you're in 2-down territory potentially, you can say, all right, we're going to take a chance here, and then the next play we're going to try to get the first down on the ground.
Tennessee Tech 1 for 8 on 3rd downs, make it 2 for 9 now. A first down there by the Golden Eagles. Great job there by number 11. That's Willie Davis, the senior from Lithonia, Georgia. An 8-yard gain. And they're going to try somewhat of a no-huddle offense here.
It worked earlier when they did it, but you know, if you're going to play with tempo, you have to be able to keep it up long term.
Willie Davis, they call him Sticks, number 11 across the 50. And he's brought down by Tyus Bowser, the junior from John Tyler High School. Him in action, him and Greg Ward from the same area there up in Tyler, Texas. 2nd and 5 here for the Golden Eagles. Manageable, very manageable at midfield.
That's back-to-back plays that they go with that counter. The running back starts one way, but then they have a guard pulling back around the other way, and the linebackers sometimes get lost with that.
Ladarius Van Leer comes out the backfield, misses a tackle, and he doesn't get past the second one. Nevertheless, just shy of the first down. He was brought down by Stephen Taylor again. the junior from Cedar Hill, Texas. So Van Leer picking up some more yardage here. And they're going to use him as much as they can as he walks off the field.
Well, the coaches said they wanted to get him 15 to 20 touches on offense. He's well below that now, and a lot of that has to do with the Houston Cougars.
Jared Davis looks to pass, going long, passes, no catch. Pass is dropped by number 81. Austin Hicks from Gardendale, Alabama, broken up by William Jackson. The transfer from Trinity Valley.
Well, that was a good play by Austin Hicks to turn into a defender, because that had a lot more chance of being intercepted by Jackson than it did being caught by Rack. When you are a wide receiver, part of your job if you want to get the quarterback to throw you the ball, especially in tight windows, he has to have confidence that you are not going to get him interceptions on his record.
Nice high booming punt. Fair catch. And around the 11-yard line, the University of Houston Cougars will start their drive when we return. 31-10 your score from TD-ECU Stadium inside the Bayou City. Welcome back to college football here on ESPN. The University of Houston Cougars lead the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles 31-10. Quick, interesting fact. University of Houston, George, is 6-0 on ESPN3.
Well, guess what? If I were them, I'd try to put all my games on ESPN3.
Greg Ward still in the contest. And he hits a receiver. Did he get it? Yes, he did. That's number 21, Chance Allen.
University of Oregon. But it's important in this second half to see Mr. Ward and the Houston Cougars diversify their portfolio, their wide receiver portfolio, because in the first half, predominantly all the plays went to Mr. Ayers. And you don't want teams to be able to key on him that when he's in the game that you're going to pass the ball, and when he's out, you're going to run the ball.
Ward, play action. Has a man. And a first down by Tyler McCloskey, the 6'2", 235-pound junior from Houston Memorial. A 12-yard gain there for the Cougars.
Yeah, he's the convert that we talked about. Houston ran a spread offense for so long that they did not have a tight end on the roster. They would be out there with 4 wide receivers, sometimes 5 wide receivers, similar to what you saw when Case Keenum was quarterback. And so when Tom Herman came in with his offense, brought in Major Applewhite, his offensive coordinator, he had to say, oh, wow, we don't have a tight end on this roster. Right. So now what are we going to do? Who wants to get some playing time? Who's playing somewhere else? And you want to get on the field right now because you have a chance if you can be our tight end.
Number 32, Trey Thompson, walking off the field. One of the storylines in Houston has been a lot of cramping in high school football. I'm not sure if that's carrying over into college football. Tonight, Trey Thompson just walked off the field. That not really a cramp, you don't think?
Well,
and as Ayers gets the ball back a second time, another time, as he's stopped just short of the first down by Brady Bowes, the freshman from Ashland City, Alabama.
Well, you talked about the cramps in high school athletes. A lot of that in high school athletes has to do with the fact that they don't hydrate the way that they truly need to, and they don't understand. And high school kids, they eat a lot of food that is not conducive to
hot chips and Fritos.
Exactly, it's not conducive to your body being at its optimal performance.
Ward on the play action. Ward going long. Ward going over the top. DeMarcus Ayers.
Okay, by now you would think that Tennessee Tech would say, maybe we need to start finding out where Ayers is. Send the guy at him at all times, because he alone is just running all over the place. Yes, Greg Ward himself is being disruptive with his feet and with his arms, but Ayers is just making big play after big play after big play.
A 37-yard gain there for the Cougars. 1st and 10, just inside the 30-yard line. Greg Ward Jr. Look out for this name this upcoming season. Ranked number 4 in NCAA completion percentage last season. 673. Ward trying to get away, and he does throw it away. And it looks as though he was outside the tackles, no intentional grounding there. He was brought down by Brady Bose with the interruption. Let's take a look at that one more time.
Let's see what the tackle is. Okay, the tackle's outside of the hash mark. Ooh, that was a little close right there.
Did he get away with one?
No, he did not. They just dropped the laundry on the.
Oh wow!
He didn't get away with that one, buddy.
Number 1 in the offense. Threw the ball with no receiver in the vicinity. So lots of down. Get third down.
Fans not happy about that here at TDECU Stadium.
There's nothing to not be happy about. That was a good, accurate call. Again, it's not fun when your team gets penalties called on them. But, you know, when it's the right call, it's just the right call.
3rd and long here for the Cougars. Tennessee Tech trying to come out with another stop here. Ward out the gun. Wants to go long. Brings it down. He'll take the sideline instead, and he gets inside the 20. And he's short of the first down. Brought down by Jake Warwick, the freshman from All-Cold, Tennessee.
Ah, man, I wanted to see Ward pull the trigger right there.
I
He
did
had
too.
Ayers out of the slot, had him running right down in the middle of the field. And this is where Tom Herman is going to say, listen, young man, listen, Greg, just let go of the ball. We got our playmaker one-on-one in the end zone, and he's got space. Let it go. Get him to rock.
We want that. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Might be a false start. No. Greg Ward going into the end zone. Has a man. Pass was intended for number 15, Linnell Bonner from Houston Decaney High School.
Got to say in for you for that. So he just told him, son, let the ball go. This time he says, son, don't miss the layup.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to make a perfect throw. He's wide open. Just hit him, even if he has to stop to catch it. Just get him the right. Yeah, just because he has no chance to catch that.
That's right.
He has to make a one-handed Odell Beckham Jr. hand catch to possibly catch that. Use all the athleticism in his body. No, just drop it in there. Let him stop and catch it like a punt.
Turnover on downs there for the Houston Cougars as they went for it on 4th down. Jared Davis goes back to pass, and he's hit hard from the backside. Number 81, Tyus Bowser, also from Tyler, Texas. A 9-yard loss.
Yo, dump right there, bro. You've seen a couple times where Tennessee Tech has tried to get their quarterback out on these nakeds and on these fakes, but the Houston D-line is just not going for him.
Jared Davis, and almost intercepted as pass was intended for number 8, Brock McCoy. Right there was Howard Wilson on the pass for the Cougars from DeSoto, Texas. He knows a lot about football coming from DeSoto.
Again, I mean, how many times have we seen Tennessee Tech in 3rd and 20 plus tonight? I know it's 3rd and 19, but that might as well, that might as well be 20. At least 4 or 5 times tonight. And they've been able to convert 0 of them. And that's what you're going to get on the course of the night when you continuously are in 3rd and 19, 3rd and 24, 3rd and 25.
And Willie Davis is brought down as he grabs a couple of yards for the Golden Eagles as they keep the clock running. Just under 2 minutes left to go here in Houston, Texas. Cougars 31, Golden Eagles 10. American Athletic Conference football here on ESPN. Back deep to receive is Ayers, and he's going to call for a fair catch as it rolls out of bounds. 31-10 your score from TDECU Stadium. We'll be right back. You're watching college football on ESPN. (31-10) your score here. The Cougars over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech here at TDECU Stadium. Here's some numbers on DeMarcus Ayers, the wide receiver there. 121 reception yards, 32 rush yards for a total of 153.
He's putting in a hard day's work and has been on a lot of touches. He's gotten fly sweeps. He's gotten the ball wide open. He's made plays. He's shown himself a true playmaker tonight.
Greg Ward with the handoff to Ryan Jackson as he goes far sideline as he tosses and turns for a couple of extra yards, just shy of the first down.
We thought that from talking with Tom Herman, Houston coach, earlier this week, that we would see a ton of Kenneth Farrow, and that's what Tennessee Tech was afraid of as well, but it's been more of Greg Ward and Ayers.
And Posna. Posna gets the first down for the Cougars as he steps across the 35-yard line, and he's still going. They can't get him down.
Those are the kind of plays that just build momentum. Even though Houston is already on top of this game, 31-10, you see Posma, converted quarterback. They're usually the prima donnas. They don't want to get the jersey dirty. But you see him out there saying, you know what, I need some touches. I need the rock.
15-yard gain on that catch. Last drive for the Cougs, 8 plays, 69 yards. That was the one that resulted in the turnover on downs. Here comes the reverse as DeMarcus Ayers gets the football again.
Wonder who's getting it. I mean, if you're Tennessee Tech, if I'm their coaches, if I'm Watson Brown, I'm putting a spy on him. I'm just, I'm going into what basketball would call like a triangle and two, box and one. I'm just following Ayers around. Everybody else I'm going to play zone around because Houston's not even attempting to get them the ball. They're running the ball, so I'm packing the box down, and then I'm going to play one-on-one on the outside.
First down there for the Cougs, a 12-yard gain. DeMarcus Ayers is on fire. Could be the player of the game tonight. Him or Greg Ward. It's a tough one.
That's going to be a tough one. I would have to, right now, I would give it to Ayers just because the quarterbacks, they get all the glory.
You're a wide receiver guy.
For me to give the quarterback a ton of glory, I need him to do something tremendous and special for me.
As Ryan Jackson falls forward for a couple of yards. This game has put 45 minutes in the books. 15 more when we return. 31-10 your score from Houston, Texas. It's American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. Welcome back to the fourth quarter here in Houston, Texas. We've played 45, 15 more to go. University of Houston leads this one 31-10 over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech, Greg Reister. Great ball game so far. Tennessee Tech down, but not out just yet. They're going to try to give it a shot here in this fourth quarter. University of Houston Cougars with the football inside their own 20-yard line. And on the handoff is Javin Webb. And Webb finds the end zone. A 14-yard rushing touchdown for the Cougars.
This is where the team just starts. A team just starts to lean on them. They've been running the ball successfully all game, and then they bring a pair of fresh legs in here in Webb. He's just been itching to touch the ball all game, and he finally gets it. He makes the most of his opportunity. You see this a lot out of young running backs. They get the ball in the fourth quarter, especially when the game's starting to get a little bit out of reach. And look at him, he got a big old hole. Nobody even touches him until he's crossing the goal line. We can throw you down there.
Oh, wow. I was a wrestler in high school, not a football player. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. Cougs put up more points here. Let's take a look at that run one more time. Number 25, Javin Webb. As he gets the handoff from Ward, and like you say, he's untouched until after he gets inside the end zone.
The D end right there has to respect the quarterback on the play fake. So it causes him to slow down, and Webb gets the ball going at full speed, which is one of the advantages of running the ball out of shotgun formations, out of the pistol and formations like that. So, and Webb, he's getting his opportunity and he makes plays. So I think there that the female Cougar is, her push-ups were a little better than others.
I noticed that too. Got some Cougar weight training going on. In that last drive for the Cougs, 5 plays, 52 yards, and it only took these guys this time 1 minute and 29 seconds as Javin Webb got in for the 14-yard touchdown run.
That's quick.
That is.
That's quick, and that's typical of an offense like Tom Herman, who was at Ohio State, did it with Braxton Miller, then came in with J.T. Barrett, and then came in with Cardale. They got a national championship. But
how do you win a national championship with your third-string quarterback, man? I mean, like you said, Tom Herman had to have an impact.
Yeah, he did, but you also have a caviar problem when you're at Ohio State as well.
You've got 3 real good quarterbacks back there.
Exactly, but even more importantly than that, they run the football. They had Ezekiel, and here they have Farrow, and they got Ryan Jackson, and as you just saw, Javin Webb as well. They've got a good stable of running backs here in Houston, and they're going to be a force with their upcoming schedule in the American Conference.
Now, down here in Houston, the word was they thought maybe Cardale Jones may be coming over with Tom Herman. But obviously it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, see, he would have had to sit out.
He would have had to sit out
if he transferred. And he got a chance to play last year at Ohio State. And you just never know. You just never know. You're the backup quarterback, and Braxton Miller was changing positions, so they probably knew that was going to happen. So why transfer?
Davis with the handoff to Ladarius Van Leer. And Van Leer hits a Cougar wall again. No gain, right? Still at the line of scrimmage. Haven't had a chance to talk much about the Cougars defense today, but they've only given up 10 points today. A couple of yards, a lot of passing yards, but still negative rushing yards for the Cougs, or excuse me, for the Eagles.
Well, and also their defense has had 2 sacks and 8 tackles for loss.
And an interception right there. And it man.
Right on cue.
No. Right there for number 16, Adrian McDonald, the sophomore from Lawton, Oklahoma. A 12-yard interception catch for McDonald. Well, he tipped it.
Right
a tip dunk.
That's what he did. He did his own work. He tipped the ball and he said, no, I'm not going to wait on anybody else to get it. I'm going to do my own dirty work myself. These Houston defensive backs have been good all night. They have let McGowan get off a little bit, gave up some big plays, which I'm sure Tom Herman is going to shore up with his defensive coordinator, Todd Orlando, in the upcoming week. But McDonald, Stewart, Jackson III, and Wilson have all played admirably today. Houston has 510 yards of total offense. And last season, their high was 594 versus Cincinnati. So this is a good sign. When you have your season high in your first game, that's already good news.
New quarterback here for the Cougars. It's going to be Adam Schultz, the senior from Muskego, Wisconsin, a transfer from Utah. As he hands off to Kenneth Farrell, and Farrell moves forward for a couple of yards. Hurry up offense here as the second string quarterback takes some reps. Schultz drops back to pass, looks into the end zone, maybe long. And wow, scared the security guy over there. So,
when you have those long passes, when the quarterback's just throwing them out of the back of the end zone, and you're just standing there, manning your post, doing crowd control, security, you got to keep your head on the swivel.
That's right. That's
Before
right.
you get darted in the head and end up in the hospital. That would not be good.
I've been over there on those sidelines before. I know a lot about looking out for those footballs and those players when they come close to you, because they're way bigger than me by feet. Dropping back to pass to Schultz, and Schultz has a man right at the end zone. Not sure if he got in or not. That's Linnell Bonner. Just shy, 4th and goal, and the Cougars are going for it. Adam Schultz, hands off. No, he keeps it himself. A touchdown run for Schultz. And the Cougars put up 6 more.
That was a nice run in by Schultz, but I'm telling you, Bonner, though, he's going to be upset when he watches when on the replay. Oh, yeah, because he thought he was in the end zone. You got to stick the ball out just a little bit. As a wide receiver, when you don't get in, it's so frustrating because you just know that the next play is going to be a running play, and you're not going to get that touchdown back.
Adam Schultz, the 6'2", 210-pound senior from Muskego, Wisconsin. A lot of quarterbacks come from up there. Here's the extra point. And the extra point is good. We'll take a break here. 44-10. Your score here at TDECU Stadium. Cougars taking it home in H-Town, Texas. The Cougars lead this one by 35 over the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. On that last drive there by Adam Schultz in his first action for the night, 4 plays, 10 yards, only 32 seconds, and it was a 1-yard touchdown run for him to get inside the end zone.
That's efficient. That's efficient. 1 series, 1 touchdown, 4 plays, 32 seconds. You can say, he can make a bid. Say, hey, coach, I'm a senior. Need some playing time. I need that.
How about Bonner, though? Not being able to get inside the end zone.
I still have a couple of those that I still remember to this day.
Ladarius Van Leer fighting for racing room. Van Leer not able to get the yardage he wants here in the second half. 13 minutes and 34 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. The Houston Cougars bringing in their second-string quarterback. I'm probably sure some of their second-string players are possibly going to get inside this contest. What is Coach Tom Herman looking for out of this second week?
Don't give up big plays. Show that you still want to play. Show that you want to be involved in the offense, and that you want to be involved in the defense, and that you're tuned in to the schemes. Because this is where you earn some additional playing time and coaches learn to trust you.
Jared Davis still in at quarterback for the Golden Eagles. As Steve Wilson sees some action tonight, and he gets a catch. The senior from Nashville, Tennessee. 18 total yards before that catch in the second half. And wow, a whopping 233 yards in the second half by the Houston Cougars. A total of 520 for them.
And there's still game left to play. I mean, this fourth quarter is still very, very young. And it doesn't seem like whether it's the second-string quarterback or the first-string quarterback in Ward or Schultz, that Houston's not going to be able to move the ball.
Willie Davis putting in some work for the Golden Eagles as he falls forward.
I'm interested to see how this Houston team is going to look going forward when they play against Memphis and Navy, Tulsa, SMU, and Tulane in the American West. Because this, to me, tonight, albeit against Tennessee Tech, this looks like a team that can win this Western Division and end up, at the very least, in the conference championship.
Howard Wilson there on the stop for the Cougs as he brings down Steve Wilson. 2 catches right back-to-back for him.
Tom Herman talked about that was one of the goals for his team this year, is to get one of those non-Power 5 I call it a BCS berth, but I meant a New Year's Eve 6 balls.
Jared Davis going across the field, top of your screen, as he finds number 2, Jordan Smith. Golden Eagles trying to show some heart here in the 4th quarter. Come all the way down to Houston, Texas, and they'll try to put up some more points. They're not going to be satisfied with 10. Watson Brown getting a good look at his guys here in the 4th quarter.
He said that he wanted to get as many of his guys in the game as possible because he knew that it would help them going on through their Ohio Valley Conference schedule. That this experience against better quality competition, higher ranked players is going to help them when they face against Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Murray State, Southeast Missouri, Austin Peay, UT Martin. When they get in those games, the experience that they learned tonight is going to help them out going forward.
3 for 12 on 3rd downs are Tennessee Tech. Can they make it 4 for 13? Pass across the middle, your boy, McCoy. McCoy has racing room. McCoy trying to get away from Cougars. McCoy in the Cougar territory just inside the 20-yard line as he's brought down by number 23, Trayvon Stewart. 47-yard gain there for McCoy, and he's still going, George.
McCoy's been putting in that work tonight. Okay, so we got to give up the Capital One player of the game at some point in time tonight. But if McGloin gets another touchdown, I know we can't give it to a guy in a losing effort, but we need to find an award to give to this guy. This is the stick-to-itiveness, work hard, even in the face of adversity award.
I think I just saw the Statue of Liberty play there. Right here, Anua. Jordan King with the fake, but the handoff right behind himself. And Anua falls forward. 2nd and about 6 coming up here for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. The 8th play of the drive here for Tennessee Tech. Jared Davis will line them up 4 wide. Puts it in the hands of Radir. Radir almost into the end zone, just shy. Steps out around about the 3-yard line. Brought down by Lee Hightower from Inglewood, California, transfer from Boise State.
This is a nice play here, but all this was set up by the big block by the wide receiver. A lot of times, wide receivers, they don't want to come back and help out the wide receivers. They just want to help out the running backs. They just want to catch the ball down the field. But so many big plays are had because wide receivers are blocking.
Jared Davis looking to get inside the end zone as he hands off to Anua. Anua just short. They'll try it one more time. Tennessee Tech looking to save face here.
Don't get too tricky. Don't try to do that reverse doohickey gadget plays that they did last time. Just line up. You're on the what? You're on the 1-yard line. You're on the 1-yard line. You got 3 shots to get it in the end zone. I'm just going straight downhill every time. Even if I pick up a half yard each time, I'm getting in the end zone before I got to get the ball back to you.
And one thing about the running back core, not big guys. That's Van Leer, Anua, and Willie Davis, all small guys, but speedy. You used the term earlier for Van Leer, scooter.
Yeah, scooter, a little jitterbug. You know, you can't. It's hard for the defensive lineman to see him. Right. It's hard for them to, when he gets to jittering back and forth behind there, the linebackers can lose him. But this is where the Houston defensive line has done a good job. They've got a lot of penetration, a lot of push in the backfield. So even though it's hard for the linebackers to see him, when you create that push back, it takes him, he has to slow his feet down. That way the linebackers are in a more advantageous position.
Tennessee Tech lining up, 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. 10th play of the drive here. And a quick switch of defensive Cougars by head coach Tom Herman. Jarrett Davis, triple back. Davis puts it in the hands of Davis. Touchdown. Jarrett Davis to his best friend Willie Davis for the 1-yard touchdown run.
That's a good touchdown for them. That's a good quality touchdown. It's a good quality drive. And you have to be excited if you're Tennessee Tech, because this game did not get out of hand the way it could have. They have fought hard. They forced some stops, forced some punts, and even forced a turnover.
Jonathan King in on the extra point. Almost blocked there. And let's take a look at this one again. What a beauty by Willie Davis, getting into the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagle end zone. We'll be right back. You're watching college football on ESPN. Welcome back to college football on ESPN3. The Cougars still lead the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles 45-17. Nick Strong alongside George Reister hanging out with you from TDECU Stadium. On that last drive, 10 plays, 82 yards, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Willie Davis, a 2-yard touchdown run there.
Another good drive by the Tennessee Tech team. They have come out and they have fought admirably today. They have shown that they deserve to be on this field, and that this is not just a game for money. That they came out and competed and showed that they have talent and that they belong on the field with Houston.
On that last drive for Tennessee Tech, George, before that drive, they had 18 total yards in the third quarter. They quadrupled that on that drive for the one for 82 yards.
You asked me before that drive started, what did Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator for Cougars, what Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator for the Cougars, what he wanted to see out of his reserves. That was not it. That was the anti of what he wanted to see. The first unit did a good job. And when you're a young player, this is when you're going to be getting the game. Some of your redshirt freshmen, sophomores, and you want to show the coach, in case somebody's tired, we don't need to call a timeout. You can throw me in the game. The house won't burn down. We won't give up a touchdown. We won't give up big plays.
After that drive, I don't know.
And now we got to reevaluate again.
Adam Shule steps back in for the Cougs. Second string quarterback for Tom Herman. And out of the backfield is Tyreek Gray, the freshman from Lamar High School, Houston ISD product.
I think getting to one of these New Year's Six bowls is a realistic goal for this Houston team. I think that they have the talent. I think that Greg Ward Jr. has shown himself being able to command this offense. My only takeaway from this game that I would like to see him do better in the near future is to hit these wide receivers. We saw he missed a couple today. And he's going to wish that he had those back, but those could be just first-game jitters.
Tyreek Gray picks up some yardage on the reception again, a first down for the Cougars. Does Ward remind you of Andre Ware back there? I mean, I know he kind of used his feet a little bit as well.
No,
he's not that good, huh?
Not quite.
Not that good.
Not quite. I mean, maybe at some point in time in this season, but Andre Ware was a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, he just went on a tear. He was throwing the ball all over the place. I think he threw for 3,500, 4,000 yards. He was just incredible. I mean, it's hard for a guy from Houston to win the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
I mean, granted, it was in 1989, so it was a little bit easier for a smaller school guy to win it. You don't have to be from a perennial powerhouse or a team that's ranked number 1 or number 2 in the nation like you do now. But I like Greg Ward, but we're not going to throw him into the Andre Ware conversation.
Not just yet.
Nah.
Has good mobility though. He likes to use those feet and those legs.
Yeah, he does. I want him to show even more versatility.
Okay.
And I know that Tom Herman and Major Applewhite are going to look at this film and they're going to find a way to include not just Ayers into the passing game, that he's going to find a way to get Chance Allen the ball more, Isaiah Johnson, Tyreek Gray.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 45-17, your score from Houston, Texas. We'll be right back. You're watching American Athletic Conference football on ESPN. Welcome back to the Bayou City. 45-17, your score. Nick Strong alongside George Reister, bringing you all the action from TDECU Stadium on the campus of University of Houston. Adam Schultz in back to pass for the Cougs as he tried to hit a Coug receiver. That's number 14, Isaiah Johnson. And before that drive, before that play, before the timeout, we were talking about Andre Ware. I mean, as you talked about, let's not put him in that conversation yet. And rightfully so. Andre Ware has his number retired on the field. It's right next to the 10-yard line, and that's the south end zone, if I'm not mistaken. Number 11 right there on the 11-yard line.
And his Heisman Trophy season was just remarkable.
Schultz has racing room near side.
It was one of the best quarterback performances that you're going to see, ever. He threw the ball 578 times that season. And he threw for 4,699 yards. That's almost 4,700 yards and 46 touchdowns and only 15 picks. That is outstanding.
The old Southwest Conference.
Yep.
Adam Schultz looks to pass, has a receiver. Kyle Posner from Katy, Texas. Posner gets into the red zone for the Cougs.
I like Posner. He wants it.
Posner's cool. 33-yard catch.
He gets the ball, and he's not going to let the first guy bring him down. He's going to be a tough cover.
As he gets it right back inside the 10-yard zone.
That's what you want. You want a guy to show that he's going to be a playmaker, that he wants to make plays. One of my best friends, Sammy Parker, who played with me at Oregon, played right in the City Chiefs for a long time. He would always say about another one of the receivers on our team at Oregon, he used to say, man, I can find anybody to catch the ball and fall on the ground. It's who can score touchdowns. That's how you make money.
Javin Webb right up the middle from Shreveport, Louisiana. 5'8", 175-pound sophomore. He's going to be definitely included in this offense this year and for years to come. And they give it right back to him. Javin Webb into the end zone. 6 more points for the Cougs.
Kenneth Farrow has to be happy for Webb, but he's saying, man, I loosened these guys up for you, man. I loosened them up. I fought for all the hard yards, ran people over, made sure they were good and tired for you.
Farrow wasn't able to get any touchdowns tonight, but he did grab 49 yards. Here's the extra point here. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Cal Bullard, the senior from Bernie, Texas. Take a look at that touchdown run one more time.
This is just a simple zone run and the running back, he makes a good cut, just one cut, and just walks into the end zone. This is not finesse ball. This is what Tom Herman, what he stressed to us, is that so many people think that when you get in the shotgun that you're doing some spread out, trick 'em football. But at the end of the day, they're running zone, they're running power, so they're down blocking and guards pulling around. The same thing that you do underneath the center. The reason why you're in the shotgun is because it gives the defense another element to worry about, because now they have to honor the quarterback run. And that makes it tough on them, because that's another responsibility for the defensive end, for the linebacker, and for your secondary, because he can fake the ball and then come around, and then you think that the quarterback is going to automatically run. Then, no, he tucks it down like he's going to run, then he picks it up at the last second, and your DBs, now they think it's a run, and you got wide open guys running downfield.
601 total yards tonight here for the University of Houston Cougars.
Well, there goes last year. You're going to see a lot more days like this. Maybe not 600 total yards of offense.
600 is a lot of yards.
But you're going to see a lot of big plays and a lot of big games, though, out of this offense.
Van Leer kneels it in the end zone.
They're doing a lot of that today.
Van Leer's going to have a good season. We're going to look out for that guy.
He is. It's just tough sledding against this front seven of Houston. They've been able to essentially negate any impact that Van Leer could have possibly had today. You had Elandon Roberts, number 44, the heart and soul of this defense, just come out and show up on every single play. Matthew Adams, they're another one of their middle linebackers. Tyus Bowser, Mark Tomey, Cameron Malvo. You've had them all show up, and this is what Tom Herman wanted to see out of the debut of his club, minus those big plays that they gave up.
Manure falls forward for a couple of yards for the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. Second down coming up here. Just south of 6 minutes left to go here. TDECU Stadium, Tennessee Tech. Making the trip down to Houston.
This could be the only one I get.
The Cougars not letting up just yet. Jarrett Davis couldn't complete the pass to Austin Hicks. Third down now for the Eagles.
He got his arm hit right there, and you saw that how much that affected the trajectory of the ball. I actually like this kid, Davis. He's been poised. He's been under pressure. He did get a little bit rattled in the beginning of the game and got out of the pocket a couple times, but he's been standing in there under duress and been able to complete the ball.
Good pocket presence as he completes the pass to Brock McCoy. McCoy was hit hard by Howard Wilson. Was able to move his feet, dance around, giving himself some time. What a hit there by Howard Wilson from DeSoto.
That was a nice hit. I always joke with a lot of my defensive back buddies. I call corners and safeties opportunists. like right there. The wide receiver, he couldn't see him coming, couldn't defend himself, but he's got to do his job. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily take the most amount of courage and the most amount of heart to hit people like that. But it is fun, though. It is fun. I've been on the delivering end of those a few times, especially if a quarterback throws a pick and you get a chance to lay somebody out. You got to take advantage of it, though.
Shooting duck in the air. 52-17. Who's going to be our Capital One Impact Player of the game?
Well, we got a couple options. We have Greg Ward Jr. We got Ayers, wide receiver, and we got McGloin if we want to just go outside of the box, because he's been putting up a great game for Tennessee Tech.
So far in this fourth quarter for the Cougs, 18 plays, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. And there's still 4 minutes and 27 seconds left. As Schultz completes a pass across the top there.
Bonner again. He showed that he wants to make plays. He's a young kid, so he's a little bit tentative after he gets the ball. But I think that once he starts to get a little bit of his confidence up, then he'll start to turn some of those plays that he just made into bigger plays.
Javin Webb does a lot of acrobatic flipping out there. Enough for a first down. I mean, that was a flip.
I like to see young running backs play a lot of times because they play with such a reckless abandon, and they just I have no cares for my body. I'm just going to run and just run into eight people. It's fine.
12-yard gain there for Javin Webb
okay.
as he gets it right back and he goes up the middle to the right side. Javin Webb getting some good time here in the second half, getting some reps. Javin Webb all the way from Shreveport, Louisiana. They're going to go triple running backs this year, or three running back combo. Kenneth Farrow, Ryan Jackson, Javin Webb. And they can still get the ball to DeMarcus Ayers. And there's a fumble as Webb gets it back. And I don't know if they got the play off. A flag.
That's just an incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass.
Yeah, it just looks like a fumble, but it was a forward pass. Sometimes people, they mistake shovel passes for an actual handoff. Because it's going forward. It's just not the traditional way that the quarterback would throw the ball. This Houston team is a veteran team, an older team, a mature club. They have 5 guys who already have their degrees in their hand when the season started.
Schultz drops back to pass. Wants to go into the end zone. And just shy. Right there was Kyle Posma. Couldn't put it in his hands.
Yeah, these are first game problems.
Yeah. A little timing out there.
Yeah, you've seen it out of
Small tweaks.
Schultz and Ward Jr. That there have been a couple times where they have not been able to convert some of these wide open receivers. Just, being a little bit anxious. Schultz has had a couple drives, but he's saying, I want to go out there and show as a senior that I can play, that I can start and lead this team. If at any point in time Greg Ward does struggle, coach, you can put me in because I can do it.
4th down here for the Cougs, and the punt is up. And they're going to try to let this roll as far as they can. As it rolls inside the 2. At the 1.5-yard line. Here we go. Let's see who is our Capital One Cup Impact Player of the game.
Yes, it is the quarterback, Greg Ward. Throwing it there to Chance Allen. 21 for 28, 275 yards and a touchdown through the air. But then on the ground, 13 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's an excellent all-around day for him. And I think that he accomplished what he wanted, what Coach Tom Herman wanted him to see, and offensive coordinator Major Applewhite. They wanted to see him get the ball around, make good decisions, protect the football, and he did that all game long.
Jared Davis from inside the 2-yard line. As the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles get around they get about maybe 4 yards on that. Call it 2nd and 6. And the Cougars jumped. It's going to be an encroachment.
I know that that's a penalty on the defense, but actually, let's see. Okay. like I was saying, I know that that's a penalty, but when you see the offensive lineman have this delayed reaction and it's not really authentic and it made him jump off sides, it makes me laugh because I know it's a penalty and it's a good acting job, a good selling job, like a flop in basketball, but it doesn't make it feel good.
Jared Davis still out there as he gets it to Dorian Carter. And a little pushing and shoving going on. Dorian Carter getting some playing time here in the fourth quarter. Coach Watson Brown was 4-3 against the Cougars at the University of Houston in his coaching career. Four and 4. First down here for Golden Eagles. And Dorian Carter being a workhorse here. The Golden Eagles will run this clock. What did you see the Eagles tonight? I know they got a season tough game to start the year against the Cougars, but I saw a lot of fun. This is a team, albeit around 17-22. You didn't feel at any point in time like this was just a stomp over, run over game. At halftime, they were down by 2 scores, but it felt though that if they could get a couple big plays in their favor in the second half, that this game could be close, and that's encouraging. And with their Ohio Valley conference schedule coming up, you know that they're going to take the confidence that they got in this game, going up against Division I quality opponents, and being successful, having successful plays, being able to run the ball, have drives, extended drives for touchdowns. That's all positive. There's a big catch by the Golden Eagles. Your boy, Brock McCoy, going all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Eagles. A 77-yard touchdown catch for Brock McCoy.
Why didn't he do this before we gave out the Capital One Player of the Game? Yeah, this is just a case of where defense for Houston, the time is ticking down. Time is ticking down. Like they thought they were just going to run the ball, and they fell asleep. They just fell asleep. And Tom Herman, if I wish we would put the camera on him, he probably threw his headset down. He probably looked at Todd Orlando, his defensive coordinator. Really? Okay, somebody's running, somebody's down, somebody's got to pay for that.
Extra point is up. Extra point is good. 52-24. Now you score here. Watson Brown tries to get a couple more points here. How interested are you in the University of Houston on the rest of the season?
I think this team, like I said, I think Tom Herman's goal of New Year's Six Bowl is realistic. It's realistic, but I do want to give McCoy some time, though. 9 catches, 264 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and is long of 77 yards. This is quite impressive.
Total offense tonight for the Cougs, 627 yards. Ford Jr., 382 total yards, 3 touchdowns. And there he is, your boy, Brock McCoy. 9 receptions, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. And not to mention, Tennessee Tech has a total of 341 yards.
Like what we saw from Ward Jr., 180 total yards, 3 TDs. That's McCoy, he had a tremendous night. Great, albeit on some busted coverages, but guess what? Looks at that. It's not going to hurt. All these good things happen.
And that'll do it here from TDE Stadium. The Cougars grab the victory, 7-0 the ESPN George.
If I'm the Houston Cougars athletic director, I'm
other network. We need ESPN3. We need it. This is good luck for us. It's our good luck charm. This is rocking Clemson. This is playoff champions Notre Dame. It's all those things.
Great game, George.
Thank you, sir.
So long for George Wright. I'm Nick Strong. And so long from Houston, Texas, where the final score is 52-24. This entire game on replay, as well as other games